to the chat, okay? How is everyone doing today? How's everyone doing today? How's the week been? Today's Thursday. It's almost Friday, so thank God it's almost Friday. Let's put it that way. All right, Ruka, wait, say, no, that's Ru. Let's just say Ruka. Okay, good. Evelyn, good. Can't hear what you're saying. All right, if we can, so Gbenga and coordinators on the call, please, attend to people that can't hear what we're saying. These are productive. We're good. Great, great. That's amazing. It's good to have you guys on board. Do you understand now? I know today's Thursday and a lot of you are tired. Okay. So we've had very, very long. Look, yeah, exactly. So I wasn't too sure. Okay, but thanks for correcting me. All right. So I'm not going to be spending too much time on the call. We just want to get and want to discuss something very interesting today. All right, people want to get into cloud. Okay, people are looking to get into cloud engineering, and that's what we're going to be discussing today. All right, how do you get started as an AWS cloud engineer? Now, this career path, over the years has been increasing exponentially, and that's just because of the high demand or high adoption of cloud platforms across the business world. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Is that not interesting? So a lot of, you hear a lot of cloud migration, hear a lot of data migration projects and so on and so forth. But they are moving to the cloud, they're migrating to the cloud. And that's I won't say it's vague for some people to understand that, oh, people are moving to the cloud. What does it mean? Those are the things that we're going to be looking at today. And how can you get started? Okay, a lot of people feel like something so technical, this particular thing seems so technical, but how do we get started for a non-technical person? Okay, how do I get started? And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So if you are excited about this, if you're excited to learn more about cloud engineering and how you can get started, put a one in the chat. Let's start from there. So if you're interested to know more about cloud engineering, put a one in the chat. Don't worry, I'm not going to take your time today. We're just going to be here for the next maximum an hour and a half, 2 hours. Okay, that's good. Joel, James, Saint. I want more ones. You guys are more than this. I want more ones. Flood the place with ones. Let's know that. Let's get all excited about cloud engineering. Get me. All right. Yes, let's go. All right, that's good. That's good. Now I'm excited to talk more about cloud engineering. All right, let's go. All right. So what we do usually is to introduce the analytics to you, even if you've attended our session several times. Okay, we would still like to reiterate what we do, the mandate of the analytics, what we are setting out to achieve. We'll be discussing that in the next 2 minutes. So about Analytics is an educational technology firm, and the goal for us is to get more Nigerians, more Africans into the tech space. All right, that's like the foundation thing. That's the foundation for us to get more Africans, to get more Africans in Africa and Africans across the world into the tech space. So regardless of anywhere you are, you're in Atlantica, you're in Canada, you're in the US, you're in the UK, you're in Germany, you're in France, you are anywhere in Africa looking to get into the tech space. That's exactly what we set out to achieve. How can you get started? Don't worry, this is the platform for you. So we offer, different tech skills training program across data analytics, business analysis, data engineering, which we'll be talking about today, financial analytics, HR analytics, power platform, and so many more. Okay. So what we do, okay, is a very simple methodology, which we call experiential learning. Okay, experiential learning. So you learn by doing, okay, and you also learn from people that have experience in the industry. So imagine you've never been to, let's say, you've never been to a place before, okay? Just imagine a place you've never been to before, and you have to go to that place, okay? All right, you figuring out the first time would be very difficult. You probably miss your way several times to get to that destination. Well, if you had somebody by your side that has been there before, you would likely not miss your way. You would likely get there faster. And that's the reason why we leverage professionals in the industry, people that have a wealth of experience, people that have failed before, all right, and are now currently succeeding. We bring them aboard to also hold your hands and guide you through your journey to becoming whatever you want to become, whatever tech professional you're looking out to or you're setting out to achieve. All right. So we have people working from Apple to Microsoft, McKinsey, PwC, Coca-Cola, Google, Amazon, and so on and so forth. So we leverage this guy's experience. Okay, you would leverage their experience in getting your first role. So you have a lot of mentors essentially that have gone through this same thing that you're going through, and they would likely help you faster to get what you're looking for. I will have helped a ton of people across the world achieve this particular thing. So, that's exactly what we're doing, and that's what we set out to achieve. So if this is what you want to achieve, if you want to become a tech professional, you want to work in tech, you want to work as a data engineer, as that's what we're going to be talking about today, then this is the platform for you. You will have as much support as you need in order for you to get started. All right. So firing on, let's move. Okay. Let's move into the main meat of the session today. Ifemena April. Okay, my name is Ifemena April. Currently, I'm the co-founder of 10 Analytics. Okay, prior experience worked as a business data support lead with the post office in the UK, global business systems analyst with Teleflex. I worked as a business intelligence developer. And currently, I do more of contractual roles in the UK and also in the US. So I get a lot of freelance contractual positions in which I work as data scientist, data analyst, data engineer, cloud engineer, so on and so forth. Even Power Platform also. So quite a number of organizations are doing that at the moment, and I dabble into that as we go on. But anyways, one key thing I talk about myself is the fact that I never used to do all this before. I never learned this in school. Do you understand? And I did my first degree was in economics. Okay, so I studied economics in university. My first job was as a management consultant. Okay, I worked as a management consultant. I did that for a couple of years before I realized that okay, do you know what? Down the line, what is the best fit for me? What career path fits me the best? All right, and what career path would likely get me the most financial gratification, financial remuneration or remuneration essentially, okay, to benefit the kind of life I was looking out to achieve. Obviously, at that point in time, it was data. Okay, data was that thing that was calling my name. Okay, and I dabbled into data. Okay, started learning. Okay, it took me almost 2 years. Okay, about 2 years to actually get my first job in the data ecosystem. But now, reflecting back, I usually ask myself, and I say this every time, should it have taken me 2 years to get my first job, to get my first job in the data space? It shouldn't have taken me 2 years, ideally. And that's because of the lack of mentors. Because of the lack of mentors, lack of a platform with a structured learning approach. Okay. So there was no way I could have learned, okay, one stage by stage, okay, and somebody guiding me through the journey. Like I said, if you have somebody that has gone through it, okay, guiding you, you will likely get there faster. So it shouldn't have taken me 2 years to get my first job in the tech space. All right. So that's the reason why we started analytics to see how we can get more Africans into the tech space on such a shorter period of time. Okay, so and that's what we've been. It has been a huge success. Okay, I would say very huge success, and you'll see why it has been a huge success. See what you're going to learn in the next 1 hour. Just see what you're going to learn in the next 1 hour, and let's see how we can build up on that. Okay, all right. Just so let's jump straight into the session for today. Okay, so we're going to be doing 5 things today. 5 things. Okay, we're going to be doing 5 things today. We're going to be taking a practical knowledge on AWS cloud engineering. We're going to be gaining practical knowledge on AWS engineering. All right. We're going to be discussing, the pathway to becoming a data engineer and securing a job. So you don't want to learn data engineering, and at the end of learning data engineering, there is no benefit, there's no job, there is no upliftment. All right. So that's one of the painful thing about learning a new skill. So you learn a skill and you find out that you can't actually get a job. All right. You can't get that skill you learned. You can't use it to become better at anything. It becomes I don't know, it feels very wasteful. Okay. So that's the reason why we're talking about the pathway to becoming a data engineer and then securing a job. Okay. Now we'll talk about remote full-time and tech relocation opportunities. We'll talk about a special offer that I have for you. We'll talk about the special offer and we'll talk about the growth internship program. Now, if you wait to the end of the session, you'll get the recording of the session. All right. You will get to hear about the special offer, and you also get to know more about the growth internship program. So wait till the end of the session to get the recording, get to know about the special offer and the growth internship program. That's what we're going to be discussing today. All right. So let's jump straight into it. Let's talk about cloud engineering. Let's talk about cloud engineering. Okay. Okay. Let's talk before we move into cloud engineering. Okay. Before we jump straight into cloud. Before you even understand cloud, let's talk about data. Let's talk about data. Because the reason why cloud was invented was to be able to store data. Okay. But if you don't really understand what data is or what the burst of data is all about, you see, we have what we call the burst of data over here. Okay. All right. We have what we call the burst of data. Okay. Now, I'm going to take you guys on a journey, and I want you to follow me on this journey. Okay. So you understand it a lot better. Okay. So, like I said, just give me 30, 45 minutes of your time. Just 30, 45 minutes. I'm not going to take too long. Just 30, 45 minutes. Just listen. That's all I want you to do. Okay. Now, let's talk about data. For you to understand or appreciate cloud, you need to understand what data is. Now, I asked this question a few years ago. This was like in 2019, 2018. I have a physical session back in Nigeria. Okay. And I asked the same question: what is data? And somebody raised up his hand eagerly. Do you understand? It was an eager young boy, eager young man, I would say. All right. And raised up his hand and, okay, answer the question. And this guy, went on to say, oh, data is, a subscription that we buy on our phone. MTN has one of 2 gig for 2.5. And he wanted to start mentioning all the price points for all the data plan that exists for MTN. I found that very funny. Do you understand? But a lot of people still feel that data is, that thing that you put on your phone in order for you to browse, access the internet and all that. But that's not the type of data that we're talking about. And that's why a lot of people would see cloud and not understand the benefit of having a cloud platform or why organizations are migrating to the cloud. So let's talk about the burst of data. Let's talk about data first of all, before we start talking about cloud. Okay? Let's talk about data. So, and I'm going to do stop the cap. You'll be surprised. Don't worry. I've been doing this for almost any year. How many years? All right. So let's talk about the burst of data. So we all use smartphones, okay? We all use smartphones, okay? Every one of us, have a smartphone that we're using to send WhatsApp message, or I would say WhatsApp messages. WhatsApp messages, you're accessing Instagram, Twitter, so on and so forth. So you see, have you ever imagined, okay? Have you ever imagined how much data you generate from text messages, phone calls, emails, the photos on your phone? You take the selfies, the videos that you record, your Snapchat videos, the searches you make on Google, Bing, and any other search engine, and the music that you listen to every day. Have you ever sat down to actually imagine the amount of data that you personally, as an individual, that you generate every single month? Have you ever thought about it before? I'm very sure you've not thought about it. You just buy your data plan, your internet subscription, and you access the internet. You send text messages, you receive text messages, you call people through WhatsApp, you call people through Instagram, Telegram. You just do anything you want to do on the internet, but you don't know the beauty of what data is. Now, that's the estimate of what it is 40 exabytes that you as an individual generate 40 exabytes. The key word there is exabytes. All right. Now, you guys don't understand. Exabyte might seem a bit weird to some people because, exabyte is not something that you use on a day-to-day basis. You're probably more flat, more you will probably understand gigabyte a little bit better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here to type in gigabytes. Okay, I'm going to go to my browser and I would say exabyte. Okay, to gigabyte. All right. So this is what over here. This is 1 billion. nine zeros. It basically means one exponential nine. All right. It basically means 1 billion. So that's one and nine zeros. That's what it means. So one exabyte, okay, one, I'll say EX equals to 1 billion, nine zeros. That's three, three GB. One exabyte equals to 1 billion GB. That's what you, single individual, you, just on your mobile phone, in a month, not in 2 years, not in 5 years, all right? In 1 month, you, the estimate is that you generate 1 billion GB. Okay, that's not 1 billion actually. That is 40 exabytes. Okay. All right. 40 exabytes would now be what? That would be 40 billion. Okay. All right. Billion. All right. Gig. So you on 1 month, in 1 month, I mean, in 1 month, you generate 40 billion gig of data. Okay, from text messages to phone calls to emails, the emails that you send out, emails you receive, the photos you take on your mobile phone, the videos you make, the searches you make on Google, the music you listen to, the ones you download, so on and so forth. The estimate is a smartphone user, one smartphone user, you, individual, generate 40 billion worth of gig of data in a single month, not 2 years, not 5 years, in 1 month. Now, the estimation is in the world, there are 5 billion smartphone users. That's the estimate. All right, you can check it out on the internet. The estimate is we have 5 billion smartphone users in the world. Okay. Now, just imagine in 1 month, we are just looking at 1 month. We are still looking at 1 month. So one individual is doing 40 billion, 40 billion gig. One individual is doing 40 million gig. Now, multiplied by what? Five, five what? 5 billion smartphone users. Okay? 5 billion smartphone users. All right. So imagine in 1 month, what's the total number of data that will be generated? So that will be 40 billion gigs VB multiplied by 5 billion smartphone users. All right, smartphone users. Okay, so that's, you see, in 1 month, see the amount of data that is being generated in single month, in 1 month, just one single month. Not like I said, this is why the massive, and there's a statistic that says that 99%, 99% of the data that we have at the moment, okay, in the world, of the data in the world, okay, in the world, 99% of the data in the world was generated in the last 1 year. All right. They said 99% of the data in the world was generated in the last 1 year. So this is where it comes from. So if one individual is doing 40 billion gig in a single month, 5 billion smartphone users will likely, when you multiply that together, becomes humongous. It becomes massive. And that's where that term big data comes in. That's where that big data that people shout about. Oh, I'm learning big data analytics. Oh, I'm talking about big data. Basically, it's talking about that large chunk of data that is being generated. Okay. So that's what we call the burst of data. Okay. So, we're gradually, I'm walking you through gradually, all right, to where, cloud is coming in. Now, what is this data that is generated? This data that we're talking about, what is data? Somebody said I'm tapping when I mentioned that somebody was talking about data as internet subscriptions and all that. But if I should ask you, the individual, all right, what is data? Let me get that person's name. Let me get the person's name. Let me ask him what is data. Josh, oh yeah, come and tell me what is data. You said you said I was capping when I said someone talked about data as an internet subscription. So now come, let me bring you up. Let me bring you up to the table to ask you the question. What is data? Okay, Josh, are you there? Do you want to try? You can raise up your hand if you want to try. Let me bring you to the sports. Let me bring you to the spotlight. Okay, Josh has changed his name or he has dropped off. Okay. Anyways, anybody knows. Okay, don't worry. I'm not putting anyone in the spot. Anyways, I just want you to listen in. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm not going to be taking too many questions because of time. I just want to be brief in 30, 45 minutes. Okay. So we just talk about it. Okay. So let me talk about data. Okay. This data that we're generating, I said you are doing 40 billion gig in a month. Okay. What is this data? You would ask yourself. So data is very simple. In simple term, data are facts and statistics collected for reference and analysis. A lot of people see this when people see this explanation, they wonder that this data that people are talking about, that data is changing the world. Data is the new oil. Data is this, data is that. This is the definition of data. It feels too small. Do you understand? It feels so small. It feels so infinitesimal to say that. Is this what is changing the course of the world? All right. But now let me explain it. Let me break it down better for you. Okay. So data are what? Data are facts. The first keyword you should take into consideration is fact. The second keyword, statistics. The next one, reference. The next one, number four, analysis. So let's break it down now. Data are facts. Data, okay, equals to fact. Okay, all right. Now let's break that one down first of all. Okay, let's take a quick example. Okay, let's take a quick example. Let's call this person Josh. Okay, we'll call this Josh. Josh, just because Josh said to bring Josh. All right. Let's say Josh, yeah. Okay, let's bring in Josh. Josh is the customer who wants to open a bank account. Okay, Josh is a bank account. Oh, Josh wants to open a bank account rather. Okay, so Josh goes to a bank. Okay, I'm going to draw a very, very simple bank. Okay, let's just say this is a bank. So Josh goes into the bank to open a bank account. Okay. Now, what is the first thing to give to Josh to say that, okay, you will need to do what? You need to fill a form. You need to fill a form. Okay. You need to fill a form. Now, this form, what are the information that will be in the form? Okay. There'll be stuff like what? Name. Okay. Age. All right. What else? Everything. Location. Okay. All right. Gender. Okay. All right. And what else? Any other information, phone number, address, okay, so on and so forth. They will ask all this bio data. Okay, they'll get your bio data. Bio data, that's things about you, facts about you as an individual, correct? You go into the bank, you want to open a bank account, they need facts about you. They need your name. So my name is Ifemena April. That's my name. That's a fact stater right there. Okay. How old are you? I am 77 years old. Another fact. Okay. All right. Location. Oh, I'm based in um Botswana. Okay. Gender, I am male. Phone number, these are all facts about me. That's data. That's what people don't understand. And that's where, when you understand that data is fact, that's where you now start to know that, okay, that's why organizations have to secure their data. Okay. That's when you now start to look at data security in a different manner because people have given you that data, they are facts about themselves. Okay. These individuals, okay, you go into the bank, you give your facts about yourself, okay. So they need to secure the data because these are personal facts about you as an individual. Okay. All right. This is where you now start to talk about, data quality. Data quality. Okay. That's when you now start to look at these things a bit different because if I go into the bank and I give a fake name, okay, I give a fake age, fake location, fake gender, fake phone number, it becomes a data quality issue. It becomes data, there are issues with the data already because we're coming to the bank to give all fake details, not facts. It's all fake. And that's what you now start to do. You go to the bank, you're doing KYC, your customers, and people are trying to validate the data that is being generated. Do you understand? These are facts that is being generated by the organization, and they're trying to validate, they're trying to ensure that the data that you provided to them is of good quality. Okay, that's what we'll talk about: data quality, data security. They want to secure that fact that you provided to them. They want to safeguard it. Okay, keep it so that no other external forces will get access to your personal information. All right. So that's the first thing that you need to understand. Data and facts, 5 and 6. In fact, they are the same thing. Data, facts are the same thing. They are facts. Okay, data are facts. Now, the other thing is statistics. Okay, statistics meaning numbers. Okay, so you open your bank account, you deposit money in there. You, when you want to send money, okay, you send money to, I send money to James Awojobi. Okay, James will receive that money. It's a fact that James, I sent $5,000 to James Awojobi. Okay, that's a fact. It happened. The transaction happened. All right. That's statistics. So 5,000 left my own account and entered into James's account. Another fact. Okay. So those are statistics. So it's not, maybe he had 5,000 in his own account, that James had 5,000 in his own account. It will increase from 5,000 to 10,000. Mine will decrease from that amount to another amount, and so on and so forth. These are all statistics. All right. Okay, so moving on to the next one. That's statistics. Statistics basically just involves the numbers involved with, whatever you're doing on a day-to-day basis. All right. So, in terms of reference, now let's talk about referencing. Okay. Let's talk about reference. So when Josh, okay, when Josh sends cash, sends money, okay, all right, sends money via, let's say, the banking app, okay, banking via the banking app, okay. Josh sends money via the banking app, and something happens, and the person Josh sends money to doesn't receive the money, okay. When Josh sends money to somebody, okay, but the person that the money was sent to did not receive the money, okay, there is something going on. There's something wrong somewhere, okay. Josh can confidently walk into the same bank and tell the customer service guy or lady, "Oh, I sent this money last night or 2 days ago, but the person I've sent this money to has not received the money." Now, at this point in time, that transaction, that transaction is stored. The transaction that happened, that's a fact. You just sent money. It's a fact that you sent the money. There's a statistics, which is an amount that you sent to the person. So everything is being stored. Okay. Now that particular data, okay, can be used for reference to say that, oh, this, when the customer service person, when you talk to the person gets your account number, the person looks at your transaction history, and the person sees, okay, that, oh, as at 9 p.m. 2 days ago, you sent $5,000 to James. Okay. So now at that point in time, that transaction, which is the data, can be used as a point of reference to say that, oh, yes, you actually did this. Oh, looking at this, it's because the money is stuck in the air. It's stuck somewhere. Do you understand? It will get reverted in the next, 24 hours or something. Do you understand? So at that point in time, data can be used as a point of reference to say that, oh, yes, oh, this thing happened. Imagine you also going to, if you're in the UK or you're anywhere across the world, okay, you buy a particular electronic, you buy a TV, okay, from the supermarket or from the mall, okay, you get back, they'll give you a receipt, okay, they give you a receipt. That's another show of fact that you purchased a TV, okay. On that particular receipt, you have your details, okay, the time you purchased the TV, you have the time, you have those information, you have the amount. These are all statistics about that transaction that took place. Now, if you get home and the TV doesn't work, you have the chance to take that TV back. Now, that receipt is what they use as a point of reference. Okay, it's data. Your receipts that they give to you is data, contains data about the transaction, the amount, the TV that you purchased, when you purchased the TV, so on and so forth. Now, that data can be used as a point of reference. That's what we're talking about here. Now, the last one that we have here is analysis. Okay. Analysis is talking about the fact that, at the end of the day, the mall, where you bought the TV from, can say that, oh, you can see This week, we sold a total of 10 television. Okay. And the sum total for that amount, everything at the cost price of 500, the USD, all right, 500 USD, and we sold 10, that is 5,000, so on and so forth. You can easily do this calculation. You can use it for analysis. In the bank, what's the total transaction this month? How many transactions were from mobile banking? How many transactions were from internet banking? How many transactions were from ATM? So on and so forth. You could use data as a point of analysis. Okay. So you see, when they're talking about data, okay, data are facts and statistics. Two things. They are facts and statistics that are used for referencing. Data can only be used for two things: referencing and analysis. For referencing, to say that, oh, this thing happened. Yes, I can see from our system that this thing happened. Hmm. You know, in order for you to reference it. And the analysis aspect is what most people, the data analysts, data scientists will be doing, performing analysis to see trends, to see patterns, so on and so forth. So that's basically data. I don't know if you guys are following me. Can you drop a one in the chat? Let me see the people that are following me. Oh, yes, fantastic. That's good. All right, great, great, great stuff. All right, fantastic. All right, so now let's move on to some, let's keep going. Okay, so this is just me explaining exactly what I've done. All right, so now we need to understand how data has always existed around us. Okay, for us to also understand and appreciate the cloud better. Okay, we need to understand that data has always been around us. So this one that everybody wants to become a data analyst, data scientist, data engineer. All right, data has always existed. Okay. Now, can we remember this? We all remember this cabinet. Okay. Cabinet. And can anybody tell me where they used to see this cabinet? Let me just do that real quick. Anybody remember where they see this cabinet usually? Okay. Offices. Thank you. In Nigeria, there's one particular place you see this kind of cabinets. Let me see. Principal. 100%. Gabriel's principal's office, bank, hospital. Yeah, exactly. You see all these things here. Now, I want you to take your mind. I want to actually take your mind on a journey. Okay. Now, in those cabinets, you see, let's take a hospital, for example. Okay. Let's take the hospital. All right. So this guy, all right, let's say this is, let's call this person Tay. Okay. So Tay goes to the hospital. Okay. All right. So Tay is a new patient that goes into the hospital. Back in the days, this is not years ago, years ago. All right. They have this file that they'll open for you. Okay. So when you go to the hospital, they open the file for you. Okay. So when the new file, they'll put in a white sheet of paper, and the nurse will take your height, your weight, your bio information, basically facts about you. Okay, so what's your name? Can you fill this form? Put your name here, put your age here, put your this, put your local government, put your this. Are you married? Are you single? All this information will be in that folder. Okay, that folder will be open for you. Now they will give you a number. Okay, all right. So if your number is, let's say, 437, okay, 437 is your number. So anytime you come to the hospital, you must show that number, 437. So the nurse will take that number, 437, okay, and go inside the office and go and look for, where the cabinet that has 400, okay, and start searching 437, 437, okay. So when they bring out that folder, facts about you is in that folder. Data is in your own data is in the folder. So your name, your age, your previous sicknesses, your previous ailment, why you've been to the hospital in the last 1 year, all those things that have happened to you, everything will be in that folder. So facts about you was in that paper folder, but it wasn't in digital format. It was just in paper. It was just a paper. Do you understand? That is, they will bind, or I don't know what they call those things. They will, basically tie together. Okay, inside that folder, everything about you will be in that folder. So if you want to see a doctor that day, the doctor will just ask you, can you get me your folder? And once the doctor flips through your folder, the doctor understands you, understand the kind of person that you are, just by flipping through. Oh, you came here last week, you came here last month. Oh, I can see that you've been here for this before. Facts about you in paper formats. Okay, so that's when data has existed for a very long time, and that's just one that we cannot resonate with. It was in paper format. Well, you see, it's limited. There's a lot of limitations with having your data in paper format. Firstly, if your customer base, your hospital is doing so well, okay, the hospital, among so many other things, your hospital starts to boom. All right. Everybody that has just a slight headache, they're coming to your hospital to come and receive treatment. All right. Now your customers base has increased from, let's say, 1,000 to, let's say a good 5,000. Let's just increase it to like 5,000. You see, that's a big jump. Now, out of that 5,000, let's say about 300 people coming in a day. Out of 5,000, only 300 coming in a day. Do you think how many nurses would you need to attend to 300 patients? All right. 10 patients are in front of you. This is my number. My number is 437 now. Answer me quickly now. I've been here for the last 30 minutes. You will need more human resource to be able to contain 300 people, because everybody will be howling and saying that, oh, I need, my number is 332, 331. Go and get me my folder. Everybody will be hustling and bustling to get into the hospital. That's just 300 people. Now imagine it's about 500, 800 trying to get. So the nurses, it's impracticable to have a folder. Okay, if you want to scale, if you want to have more customers, you want to have more people coming to your hospital, you will need to have more human resources to be able to get people's number, search for cabinets. Even in the cabinet room, is one at a time. Okay, one at a time. You have to wait for one nurse to finish before you come out, take your own number. It's going to be very slow. So you see, the cabinet couldn't work. In the bank also, it couldn't work because it can't scale. You can't move. You can't go big. You can't go. You keep yourself limited to just a few sort of number of people, of customers. All right. So that's where spreadsheets now became the main thing for most people. Spreadsheet application, Excel. All right. I remember back in secondary school, everybody wanted to learn Excel, not for analysis this time around, but for data entry. All right. But for data entry. So people are now moving from file to Excel sheets. So your information, everything will be in Excel format, okay? So they can easily print it out, send it across, send it via email, so on and so forth. So people are migrating to spreadsheet applications like Excel to store their data, to store their information, customer data, customer information, and so on and so forth. So everything was stored in Excel, all right? But also Excel is limited, okay? There are a lot of limitations in Excel. Now, Excel has a max in terms of the role in Excel rows in Excel, you have a maximum of 1.04 million rows of row. Okay. So imagine you're doing the likes of Amazon, for example, in one single day, Amazon will likely do more than 5 million orders in a day. So Excel can never, you can't use Excel. Excel, the limitation is 1 million. Okay. The maximum rows in Excel is 1.1 million plus. Okay. Now, for an Amazon that is doing over 5 million transactions in a day, even the likes of your banks, okay, GT Bank and any other bank, Zenith Bank and any, Lloyd's Bank, if you're in the UK, or any other bank across the world, they will do more than 1 million transactions in a day. So Excel cannot work in that kind of situation. You want to scale also. You want to be able to do like 5 trillion transactions. You want to do a lot of transactions in a day. So, from the limitation that you add in the cabinet, okay, you also add that same kind of limitation when you get to spreadsheet application. So using Excel to store your data. All right. So that's why people now moved into what we call on-premise database services. On-premise, okay? On-premise, basically on site. You see the data structure on site. Now, if you've ever been to the bank, okay, in Nigeria, I don't know about any other country, but if you've ever been to any organization, any bank, all right, you would notice that there's one room that has one humming sound. You just hear that main sound coming from that room. The room is extremely cold. Okay, you see a lot of wires. You can see all these wires. All right, you see all these wires here. You see all those wires entering one cable, entering another place. You see different colors of wire entering and exiting from one place to the other. Do you understand? That's what we call an on-premise database system. Now, the on-premise is good. No doubt about that. The on-premise is fantastic. It's lasted for a very long time. Do you understand? That's because it was working. You could actually store a lot of data. So you could do 5,000, you could do 5 million, you could do several, thousands of data. You understand? Okay. All right. So if it's working, don't touch it. Exactly, it's working fine. And I'll tell you the limitation with on-premise in a second. Okay. All right. It was working. Okay. But you see, whenever you wanted to, if your customer base, take for example, your customer starts to increase, like the bank. Let's take a bank for example. All right. So when you start your bank, probably you have a few thousand subs. Let's even use the likes of Instagram or Trends, for example. Let's use Trends. Let's use Trends. Trends is very recent. All right. Now look at Trends. Trends when Mark Zuckerberg made a post, okay, made the post to say, oh, they are launching Threads. All of you that have Instagram, you can really quickly just create your Threads account in like 2 seconds, blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. If Mark Zuckerberg, if Threads was using an on-premise database system, this on-premise, okay, every time, when they got to 10,000 subscribers, 10,000 subscribers, he tweeted, he said, oh, I don't know if it's trended, but Isha did something on Thread. Okay, it did something on Thread. He sent out a message on Thread, and 10,000 subscribers in the last, I don't know, I think a couple of hours or thereabouts. Okay, and when he sent that message out, before the next day, it was 20,000, it was 30,000, it was 50, 60, 100, 200, 300, 300, 1 million. It was an on-premise database system. Their capacity, okay, it's just like flash drive. Okay, so you have 256 gig flash drive. Okay, if you want more space, what would you do? You go and get another flash drive. Okay, that's another 256. We give you 512. Okay, if that 256, the 256, you've exhausted it. Two flash drive you bought, you've exhausted it. If you want to buy, if you need more space, what would you do? You go and buy another what? You go and buy another flash drive. So you see, the more data that you're getting, the more flash drive you keep buying. You keep buying flash drive. All those times I used to go and collect movies from people. When one flash drive is about to be full, you start to delete things that matter. Okay, in order for you to create space to add more files to it. But in the office environment, you can't be deleting files because you are getting more customers. You're not deleting the old ones. It makes no sense. All right. So with on-premise, there are a lot of limitations with that because when your database, when your customer base, or when your transactions or whatever you're doing is increasing in size, you will need to go and purchase more equipment, okay, to take care of that increased number. You need to go and buy more. You go and buy more server, more. You go and hire more engineers. You go and hire more people in order for them to take care of that volume of transactions or customer increase. Like Trends, like I said, it was Trends. All right. When Mark Zuckerberg was celebrating 10,000, and in the next 1 hour, it already gets to like 50,000. Mark Zuckerberg would have been calling the engineer, okay, hey, how far? Please go and buy, server. We need more server. We just go to 50,000. We need to get more space for more people. All right. So when they get to 50,000, okay, in the next 1 hour again, they get to like 100,000. Maybe they get to 200,000. Oh, engineer, please, we need more server. We need more server. We need more equipment. It makes no sense. It's not scalable very quickly. All right. You can't really scale fast and quick. Do you understand? When they're talking about scale, that's what it means. So that's what really gave birth to cloud. Okay, that's what gave birth to cloud. So with cloud, you can do this quicker. Okay, you can do this quicker, you can do this more efficiently, more quickly. You can increase the number of sites that you need in just within a second. All right. So if initially you were paying for 500 gig, okay, all right, and all of a sudden you see that 500 gig is not enough, you can easily increase it to 1 terabyte. 1 terabyte is not enough. In 1 second, a few seconds, you can increase it to 10 terabytes, to 1 exabyte, and so on and so forth. And that's how you can easily scale on the cloud. That's how you can easily scale on the cloud. But you see, this is the progression we've gone through from storing data in the folder. Okay, we'll put it in paper and store it in a folder and put it inside a cabinet. Okay, we saw that that one is not scalable. If 300 people come in at the same time asking for their file, it becomes chaos. Okay, so we moved into spreadsheets, Excel, to store people's data so you can easily extract, print, move, send. You can easily send up and down. Do you understand? Which is fast, which is okay. But also, if the number of transactions it becomes more than Excel, it crashes also. All right. So from Excel, it gave birth to on-premise database systems. Okay. On-premise also in terms of scalability, if your user base starts to increase exponentially, it becomes a problem also. You can't scale. You need to be buying physical equipment. You need to buy generator. You need to buy inverter. You need to buy servers. You need to hire engineers. You need to hire, mechanic. You need to hire, if you're in Nigeria, you need to hire security guard to guide the security, the generator outside, the fuel that you have. People will steal your fuel. You understand? So many limitations with having an on-premise database system. So that's why everybody now prefers the cloud. Okay? That's why everybody prefers the cloud. Now, let me take you through a memory lane. Okay? Let's do a quick memory lane. All right? So what's the capacity of an of on-premise database? So it depends on what you want. It depends really. All right. So it depends on the organization, what they want, and so on and so forth. So there's not an exact number to what the size of the on-premise database would be like. Okay. All right. So now who remembers going to buy DVD from the shops like this? Who remembers? Let me see the guys that can remember. Who remembers going to shops to buy DVDs like this? Can you remember? Put up your hand. All right. Do you guys still do this? Let me see. Do I have anybody that still does it? That still buys DVDs? Like, I'm not sure. I've not seen this in a while. So, all right. So, yeah, never. All right. So you see this, okay? Now I used to buy this. I personally, Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones season one came out, but in shops like this, you see season 1 to 12. For just season one of Game of Thrones, you will see season 1 to 12. Okay, every episode is a new season. Season one, one episode. Season two, two episodes will be in there. The same season one, though, but they'll spread it across 12 seasons, and you honestly don't know what season you're watching when you're dealing with this kind of system. But we used to buy DVDs from these people, from these guys like this, and women like this. I used to own shops like this. All right. But the key question is, I'll talk about what replaced them in a second. Also, who still collects movie or music using flash drive? Like, guy, I have this new Chris Brown single. Okay, I better come and collect it. Okay, like, let me collect that new Jason Derulo. Okay, let me come and collect this movie from you, this music from you. Or, oh, I have the new Spider-Man movie. I downloaded it from this website. You want to come and collect, you want to do all these things. We used to collect movies through flash drives before. I used to do it. It was exciting. All right. So you have a new movie, your friend has a new series on their laptop, or even I go on Instagram, on Twitter, and people feel, different places where you can download things from and all that. We used to collect these things through flash drive before, but we don't do it anymore. Okay, we don't carry around flash drive, hard disk. Some people still do. All right, but we don't do that anymore. All right. Now the key question is, what replaced these guys? Okay, what replaced the guy that is selling DVD? Okay, and what replaced the use of flash drive? I don't have a flash drive anymore. Hard disk. What replaced the use of a hard disk? Those are the key questions that we're trying to answer. What replaced these guys? We don't go outside to buy DVD anymore. Why? Okay, all right. I can't remember. All right, everything is on YouTube now. Fantastic. You see, you're answering the questions already. Okay, not just YouTube, but we have different platforms that provide these services, cloud-based platforms, cloud-based platform. Lot stuff like Netflix. Netflix has replaced the guy that is selling DVD outside. Prime has done the same thing. Hulu has done the same thing. The music, instead of you downloading music and putting it on the flash drive so you can store these things, you have your Spotify, you have your Apple Music, you have YouTube, you have Google Drive to store your files, you have OneDrive. So all those times, rather than, you know, it's so easy and more convenient to move around. Okay. So you have everything stored. No, if somebody steals your bag, you don't even need to worry. Okay, all right. You have your Google Drive. You can go somewhere else and log in into your Google Drive, and your documents are still intact. But if it was a flash drive that they stole from you, that's the end. Like literally, that's the end. You need to figure out. You need to start all over again. But with the platforms, cloud platforms like this, that allows you to store unlimited. All right, store unlimited number of gadgets or limited number of documents. Okay. So Netflix, you can watch as many movies, on demand. If you just see a new movie on Netflix, you can watch it immediately. The same thing on Prime, the same thing on Hulu, Spotify, millions of music. If now South African music you want to listen to, it's on Spotify. You want to listen to this, you want to listen to ancient music, it's on Spotify. OneDrive also, you can store as much of your documents on OneDrive. I used to remember moving around with flash drives, moving around, storing information, everything now is on OneDrive. So even I'm not with my laptop, all right, and I am in the remote location, I can work remotely. All I need is just the laptop to sign into my OneDrive, and all my documents are there with me. I don't need a flash drive. All right. So everything is stored where? Where are they stored? Netflix, for example. Where is Netflix storing the data? Do you think they have a flash drive that is storing all the movies they're watching? No. The Prime have an hard disk that is connected to a big system. No. Everything is stored in the cloud. Okay. So it makes it easy for you to access it real time, fast, quickly. All right. The same thing with Spotify, the same thing with Google, YouTube Music, OneDrive, and so on. So everything is being stored in the cloud. Okay. So this now we are entering into cloud gradually, but you can see how we have transitioned, okay, from what is data to data which is being stored over time. And this is how we can go around it. Please, I'll say the secure. Don't worry, we'll talk about security very soon, okay? So what is cloud computing? That's the key question now. Cloud computing is the delivery of on-demand computing services over the internet. Okay, so cloud computing is the delivery of on-demand computing services. Now, computing services, there are quite a number of services, and I'm going to explain them as we go on. Like I said, that's what we're going to talk about today. All right. So rather than managing files locally on your device, cloud computing makes it possible for you to save them over the internet. So rather than you storing those those movie files that you used to collect on your flash drive, rather than you keeping it on the flash drive, you could actually save them over the internet, on the internet rather, self. All right, you can save them on the internet. So even if you change your location, as long as you have internet access, you would be able to get access to those your files. That's the whole essence of cloud. So take, for example, a business in Nigeria, okay? You have a business in Nigeria and you travel to China, all right, for a conference, okay? And you're using an on-premise database, you will likely not get access to your business operation. Okay, you won't know what is happening in your business in Nigeria because you've changed location. All right, but imagine if your business has everything stored on the cloud, that's over the internet. Okay, meaning that even though you change your location, all right, as long as you have access to the internet, you would have your business information. You can continue working regardless of anywhere you are in the world. So that's managing your files, okay, over the internet rather than working on it, on or your device itself, on your local machine. So why cloud computing? We talked about on-premise and we talked about cloud computing. So why cloud computing is a key question. Why are people migrating to the cloud? Which at least let me even ask you guys. Let me see people that will answer me. So what do you think? What do you think is the reason why people are moving to? Why do you think, based on our question, based on our discussion so far? Let me just spend the next 1 minute. Why do you think people are migrating to the cloud? Why do you think people are migrating to the cloud? Natural disaster, fantastic. I love that. That's a good one, though. All right. Storage limitation, fantastic. Highly scalable, fantastic. Easily accessible, beautiful. I love those answers. Capacity is something else. Unlimited spaces, that's good. To secure more space, yeah, exactly. Honestly, this is the reason why I honestly love this class. I won't lie to you. This is very fantastic answer. Readily available for security, cost I don't think we need to do any. I don't think we need to continue this class, please. This you guys are cloud engineers already. Like all the answers I'm getting here are absolutely on point. All right. Yes, space, geographical, so on. All right. So I'll just go through all the things you've listed out. Honestly speaking, you guys have answered all the questions. Okay. Now, the number one thing here, all right, why cloud computing is the first thing is space. Space. For on-premise, you need space. Okay. All right. You need space. You need a dedicated space for your server, for your AC, for your inverter, for all those things that you pack inside that room. Okay. So if you've ever seen a room that has that, like I said, humming sound, that with a lot of wires and everything, something is blinking red and blue, something is blinking yellow. Do you understand? Just that room like that. That's an on-premise database. So you see, sometimes NEPA will take light. And you see everybody will just relax in the office, like, okay, it's break time because the server has gone off. If the inverter is not working, it means there's no work for that short period of time. NEPA takes light or the light goes off, there's light fluctuations. All right. Once they bring in the backup generator, okay, you see, everybody goes back to work, okay, and so on. But essentially, you need a space, you need a dedicated space to store the server, okay, AC, and so on and so forth. But for the cloud, you don't need space. All right, you don't need a physical space, rather. You don't need a physical space in your office. So that's why you can see a lot of startup working in a co-working space. You see startup, five co-founder, founder, and everybody. You can see us even currently. We are currently, I'm in the UK. We have people from across the world sitting down on different your beds, some people are on their chairs, some people are in different places. But right, but you can see we have access to the same thing. We are all talking to one another at the moment. So no need for space. All right. And that's why you see a lot of startups are launching and putting out all their products on the cloud. All right. So you don't need space, physical location to store your server. That's what it means. Okay. Now, number two, a team is required for on-premise. A team is required to maintain hardware and software. So you see this guy that is writing, that is on the computer. Okay. You see what they call network administrators and all those, and all those administrator guys. Okay. All right, the guys writing, they'll just sit down there, the engineers, all the this one I did one training program, this is CNN networking or something. Do you understand? The guys, that's what you do. You build, connect wire. So essentially, on-premise, you will need a team to always be on ground to ensure that the server is running. Okay, you will need security. Okay, if you're in Nigeria, for example, you need security to safeguard your equipment, to safeguard the generator that you buy, to ensure that this thing is always running. You will need generator, you will need AC, you will need people to always maintain these things. All right. So on-premise requires a lot of maintenance, okay, and cost implication because these people will collect salary. You will spend money on generator, you will spend money on inverter, you will spend money on solar panel, so on and so forth. So those cost implications are also things that you need to take into consideration. But for the cloud, I mean, no expert is required, really. All right. You don't need anybody to maintain your cloud. All right. You need a cloud engineer, no doubt about that. But that's all you need, to be honest. That's it. No experts required for hardware or software maintenance. Nothing. You don't need anybody because you don't even have a physical location. You don't own it. All right. You're just accessing it. Okay. So those are the things you need to take into consideration. Higher pay, less scalability. Okay. So for on-premise, you pay a lot because you need to buy equipment, you need to pay for software for engineers, you need to pay for electricity, you need to, like I said, the cost implication is a lot. Now, less scalability means that you can't scale easily. Like Threads, we use Thread for example. In the first couple of hours, they had like 10,000 subscribers on Threads. Mark Zuckerberg's trend, Instagram trends. Okay. You see, you had like 10,000 subscribers. Okay. In the next couple of hours, you had like 100,000. In the next couple of hours, it was 1 million. Do you understand? So if you're using it on premise, like I mentioned earlier, you would need to be buying equipment to accommodate those new people that are joining. Okay. All right, you need to buy new equipment. Engineer, please go and get me a server. Oh, engineer, please supply us. How soon can you supply RJ45? How soon can you supply server? How soon can you supply routers? Do you understand? You need all those things, all right, in order for you to scale. So imagine your customer starts to decline. Okay, we don't pray for that happens. Okay, but if rather than getting you got to 100,000 subscribers and all of a sudden it reduces to like 40,000, what happens to those physical equipment that you've bought? Is just redundant. Okay. So higher pay, less scalability is one of the issues with, on premise. Okay. Now, cloud computing is pay as you go. Pay as you go. Take, for example, you have OneDrive. Okay. I'm just going to use OneDrive for example. Today, you might be using 1 terabyte of OneDrive. And tomorrow you might feel like 1 terabyte is slightly too much for me. All right. I don't have a lot of things on my OneDrive. I'm paying for 1 terabyte every single month. I don't need 1 terabyte. I want to reduce it. So you are paying for what you need. Do you understand? So rather than paying for 1 terabyte, let's say 1 terabyte is about 20 pounds. Okay. I'm just guessing. Okay. Let's say 1 terabyte is 20 pounds. Okay. I can start to reduce it to say that, oh, I only need 500 gig. Okay. And I'll take it down to 500 gig and pay for that 500 gig that I need. All right. The same thing with Google Space. Okay. Oh, I need 1 terabyte. Oh, I don't need 1 terabyte. You can always scale up and scale down as you want. That's the pay as you go that you're looking at. So with cloud computing, you can always scale up, scale down, pay as you go, pay as you need on demand. Whatever you need, you pay for it. If you're scaling up, you go to like 1 million subscribers, all right, on your platform, on your application, all right, you continue to scale till you get to that 1 million, okay, in terms of space that you need. But if you start to decline, you could start to also decline your subscription, okay, for that particular application and so on. So you can see you can easily scale up and scale down as you wish. But on premise, you can't do that. The moment you buy physical equipment, you must use it. All right. And if you're not using it, it's a waste of money, waste of investment. Okay. So those are the things you need to take into consideration. Less chance of data recovery. Somebody mentioned natural disaster. So with your on-premise, all right. When I used to work I used to work with a lot of banks in when I was working as a consultant. Okay, so there's something we call disaster recovery. Okay, disaster recovery. So you see, they will have multiple locations. Okay, multiple physical locations that store their data. Okay, so that's in one branch. Another branch will store another branch data. Another branch will store another branch data. So on and so forth. So you see, it's very so. If one branch something happens, okay, there's a riot or there's something that happens, there's rain or there's something, natural disaster that affects that branch and that branch loses their data, it is backed up somewhere else. Okay. But you see, it's very difficult because it's very expensive also. It's very expensive, it's very difficult, it requires a lot of maintenance, it requires a lot. Imagine you doing backing up one branch data into another branch data and doing the same thing for that branch. It's just a lot of mess and so many things. So you see, with that lot of stress, okay, a lot of people don't do it, okay, and when that something happens, okay, they lose their data, they lose all that data. Okay, so with on-premise, okay, and once you lose something happens, maybe water flows inside this room that has all the server and all these things, okay, once they lose the data, that's the end. Like there's no computer village you go to say, a guy, can you help me to retrieve the data? It doesn't work that way. You lose, and you've lost it. Do you understand? There's less chance of data recovery. Now, the other side of cloud computing, data recovery, disaster recovery, fast. There's backup to your backup. Do you understand? Somebody delete something, there is something like, let's even take a look at your own file on OneDrive. Let's use OneDrive, for example. You delete something from your OneDrive, you still have a trash that you can go to. right? You delete something from your drive, from your trash, there's still your cache environment that you could actually go back to for, there are places you can always go to extract the data, that thing that you've deleted or that you've misplaced or something. There is always a way for you to get it back if you're using the cloud. But for an on-premise system that stores everything in a locator, if something happens, fire falls down, or water enters, or something happens, hurricane or whatever it is, there's less chance of data recovery. And you see the reasons why a lot of people are now tilting to the cloud. Okay, a lot of them are tilting to the cloud. So let's just rush over it. Data security is another issue. All right. On premise, you have poor data security. On the cloud, you have a better data security. On premise, you have less collaboration. Cloud computing, you have fantastic collaboration, I would say, because that's really because of cloud computing that really gave birth to remote working. Okay, the fact that you could be at home and you could access the office, data center or database, okay, and you can do the work that you do in the office. So before, because of on-premise, people used to work in the office, so you would need to literally connect to the LAN, the local area network, in order for you to access the company's data. So you see these things, they'll connect to your laptop and you'll be able to connect to the company's data. So you need to go physically to the office in order for you to do that. But because of cloud, I could actually work from a coffee shop. Okay. I don't need to be in the office connecting something to my laptop in order for me to work. Okay. I could actually work literally anywhere. I could today up and go to Nigeria or Ghana or Tanzania or the Maldives and I could work easily. Do you understand? So that's where collaboration comes in. So these are the reasons why a lot of organizations are migrating to the cloud. First of all, it is cost efficient. All right. No space. I don't need space. I don't need any physical location to tie me down. All right. I don't need experts. All right. I don't need network administrators. I don't need, CCNA certified people to come and be moving wire around my organization. I don't need that. All right. Pay as you go. It means that if I need more space, I pay for that. If I need less space, I down, I up, I down the way I want. Okay. I pay up or down the way I want. Disaster recovery, faster and quicker. Data security, superb on the cloud. Cloud team collaboration, also fantastic using the cloud. That's the reason why we're doing remote working, in the first place. So that's why a lot of people are migrating. A lot of organizations are spending millions and billions migrating from their on-premise systems to the cloud. They're going to the cloud now. All right. So now let's talk about types of cloud computing. Okay. And I want you guys to listen to me because we are almost there. Okay. All right. Types of cloud computing. So we have number one, deployment model. All right. And we have number two, all right, service model. Okay. These are the two ways I'm going to explain cloud computing so that you understand a lot better. Okay. I'll explain it. Don't worry. Okay. Now let's start with develop deployment model. Where does development come from? Deployment model. All right. So the first one is the way you can deploy cloud to an organization. So take, for example, your organization wants to go to the cloud, they want to move to the cloud. Okay. The first way you can deploy cloud in that organization, number one, is what we call public cloud. What we call public cloud. It's like Danfo, it's like a public transport. You don't own the bus. You don't own the transportation, the vehicle. Okay. You don't own it, but you can go in it. Like I said here, it is available to the general public over the internet and it is owned by a cloud provider, the likes of AWS, Azure, GCP, and the rest of them. All right. So it's available to the general public, like the public transportation. Anybody can use it. All right. You can't say that, no, you're not this, you're not allowed to enter public transport. There's nobody that is not allowed to enter public transport. So anybody can use it. You personally, the way you are, all right, you can create an account and also create your own cloud account. Do you understand? So it's public, meaning that anybody can access it. Can somebody say anybody? So anybody really can access the cloud using the public cloud. So this is the one that's very popular, right? They are very popular. AWS, Azure, GCP, that's Google Cloud Platform. You have IBM Cloud. You have Digital Ocean, and so on. These are, public clouds that are available for the public. Now, the next one is private cloud. With the name itself, you understand exactly where it's coming from. Private. All right. So the organizations have built their own personal cloud system, cloud architecture. All right. So you see, I wrote here, it is exclusive to a single organization. So what organization is so this is like your personal car. No other person have access to your car. Okay, they don't have access to your car. Someone from the public and just the moment you see that that's theft, okay, and you need to put in security measures around your car to ensure that nobody will steal your car. So you see all red security things are coming in. All right, so your personal car, all right, it's you. It's designed, the private cloud is designed for that particular organization. All right, exclusive to that organization. So it can be managed by the organization or a third party company. So you see, the public cloud can sort of a way be redesigned to the private cloud. So AWS see some of the you see some of the common ones like AWS still exist here, and that's because a lot of organizations can still use AWS as their private cloud platform. Okay, so you have other ones that play specifically in this particular space in this niche market, which is private, just private. So we have VMware's, okay, we have IBM Cloud, we have Dell, we have Azure, we still have AWS. So this is private, meaning that your organization they have their own. Okay, they're not using the public one. All right. And the last but not the least is an hybrid cloud, like Uber. Okay. I'm using it to explain the hybrid cloud. So, like public cloud is like downfall the public transportation. Anybody can enter. Okay. Anybody can enter. The private cloud, on the other hand, is your own personal car. All right. You can't allow people enter anyhow. It's for you. All right. It's not for the public. Okay. It's just for you. Now, the hybrid, on the other hand, is a combination of public and private, merger and acquisition. Okay. All right. Hybrid situation whereby you have a blend of private and a blend of public combined together. A blend of public and private together to give you an hybrid situation. Now, what does this mean? All right. So it gives you functionality of private, but it also gives you functionality of public. Now, let me explain this to you. So, if you worked with any government institution, well, let's take a look like central bank, for example. All right, you could go to their website to go to their website to access information from the Central Bank of Nigeria and any other central bank across the world. All right. So, in order for them to give information out to the public, okay, in order for these central banks to give information out to the public, they need a public cloud platform. They will need public cloud. In order for them, as a regulator, to be able to give message to the public, they will need public cloud, data architecture. All right. But for as a regulator, they need to safeguard their regulatory activities, regulatory data, and so on and so forth. So for that situation, they will need private cloud for that. So one organization operating two systems, one private for their private documentation, private regulatory data, private information, private, everything private. They don't, that one, public cannot have access to it. So they now have another one again, public, that they use to communicate with the public. Oh, new bulletin, new MPC meeting, new this, new that. That private cloud, the public cloud is where you can now access all those things about the CDN, what activities are they going to, and so on and so forth. So it's an hybrid situation. So organizations can have a mix of both public and private. Some can only choose just public and use public. It doesn't mean public means that when you store on the public, okay, everybody will have access to your data. It doesn't mean that. It's still secure, it's still secured. All right. Okay. It's like you entering the bus, okay? You need to safeguard yourself. You need to hold your properties tight. It's like you entering down for all right. You need to look out for yourself. Okay. You need to safeguard yourself. You need to be able to put your phone in your pocket or hold it in your hand or put you need to safeguard your own personal thing. All right. So your security measures and all the things you need to put it in place. so that somebody sitting next to you, okay, cannot steal your information, your data. So it's just like that. Okay. So you still need to secure yourself. So private, on the other hand, is more secured. No doubt about that. All right. It's more expensive, okay, and and so on and so forth. So these are the things that you need to know about how you can deploy cloud, how businesses deploy cloud within the organization. So it could be public, it could be private, and it could be hybrid. Do you guys understand this? Let me see. I think I've, did you guys understand what we just did? What we just talked about? Fantastic. Okay. Yes, 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 yes. Fantastic. I love that. Beautiful, beautiful. So this is when we talk about, this is the deployment model. So that they can deploy a public, they can deploy private, and they can deploy hybrid, like I explained earlier. Now the other part is the service model. Now this one is a bit tricky at the start, but I will try to use a very simple example to explain it to you. So there's what we call the IaaS, okay? IaaS, which is infrastructure as a service. Now, a lot of people find this difficult to understand, but I'll explain it better. All right? IaaS, IaaS, okay? Then we have PaaS, which is PaaS, Platform as a Service. And we have SaaS application. SaaS is the most popular one people talk about. SaaS. SaaS is software as a service. Software as a service. So IaaS, infrastructure as a service. PaaS, platform as a service. And SaaS, software as a service. Okay, now how does this play in the spectrum of cloud? Okay, now take for example, you want to build a website. You personally, you that I'm talking to, yes, all of us on the call. Take for example, you want to build a website. You just finished your data engineering project, your data engineering program with analytics. Okay, and you want to build a repository. You want to build a website that will showcase your skills as a cloud engineer, as a data engineer. All right. So you see, what would you do? All right. All right. What would you do? So, in this particular example, you would need to develop the website. You need to you need to store your information. You will need to do so many things, in order for you to build the website. Okay. So, like I said, in this example, AWS is the highest provider. So infrastructure as a service will provide you with all those things that you need, the basis, like server, for example, like a virtual server to run. When you build a website, all right, the website must be anybody from across the world should be able to access your website. Okay, so if I'm in India, I should be able to access your website. If I'm in Ghana, I should be able to access your website. So we have what we call virtual machines, virtual server, storage to store documents on your website, okay? Networking resources and so on and so forth for you to host your website, okay? In short, let's just put it this way. In order for you to host your website so that people can access it from anywhere, you need you need a place where you can do it. Now, AWS is that place where you can put your website. It's just like your website, you design the website, okay? All right. And you just put it on the platform and that provide it with that infrastructure for you to run your website. Okay. So in terms of storage, in terms of networking, in terms of anything that you hosting, basically hosting it on, you can host it on AWS. So AWS at this point in time is an infrastructure as a service. So that infrastructure is what allows you to sort of deploy your website. Okay. So you want to, like I said, you've learned data engineering, you've built a website, okay, all right, and you want to host it, okay, all right. AWS is that particular platform or infrastructure, I would say, that will allow you to host and allow you to access other materials, other things that you need, stuff like server, storage, networking resources, and so on and so forth. So that's infrastructure as a service. So AWS as a platform, as a as a platform, I'll say, is an infrastructure as a service. Okay. Now, let's talk about platform as a service. Now, platform as a service, when you start to develop your website, when you start to develop that website, you now start to see that you must learn HTML, you must learn CSS, you must learn JavaScript, you must learn so many things in order for you to build websites. You have to learn so many things. You need to learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript. You need to learn front end engineering. You need to learn Angular. You need to learn this. You need to learn that in order for you to build a website. Why? Do you understand? It becomes now very difficult. I don't want to learn. I'm not a software engineer. I'm not a web developer. Do you understand? So you need a platform as a service, a platform like Wix. Are we all familiar with Wix? To an extent, I want to be sure that you've heard of Wix or WordPress. If you've not heard of Wix, you would have heard of WordPress. Okay, so they have stuff like platform as a service and stuff like Wix. Okay, what we call WordPress. Okay, is it WordPress? Okay, so where you could actually go and you have template websites. So you don't need to be a software developer. The platform, Wix or WordPress, has provided you with so many templates over the internet. All right. You could actually just get a website and redesign it to your own taste and deploy it. Okay. So Wix and WordPress in this scenario is what we call a platform as a service. So it's a platform that provides you with different, web application, web design. Okay. In order for you to do what? In order for you to, rather, you don't need to be a software developer. All right. You don't need to be a software developer or a web developer to build your own website. So a platform as a service is something like what we're talking about, Wix, all right, where you can actually go there and get a template, build your own website easily, okay? Shopify and the rest of them, build your own website, all right, and easily deploy it. Do you understand? So, that's a platform as a service. All right. So the platform is providing you with, the coding, okay? The coding, the everything, the back end, the front end, the everything, the bookware, the package, full on package of the website. It's providing it as a service. That platform is providing you with all that website design, all the CSS, all the HTML. You don't need to learn all those things. It provides you with those things. So it's a platform as a service that provides you with all the services that you need to do the websites. Okay. All right. Now, the last but not the least is software as a service. A very typical good example is Zoom. Zoom is a software as a service. So all you do with Zoom, what do you do with Zoom? You just download and install it. Okay. So you start to use it immediately for video conferencing, for talking to family and friends, for anything you want to do. Let's say for this same example, this website, okay? Let's say for the website for my portfolio, I want to put it there. When a recruiter looks at my profile and they like it, they can call me immediately. Okay. Let's say a calling or a chatting or a chat infrastructure on the website. Okay. So Wix does not have, let's say I'm just going to make an assumption that Wix, when you're on Wix or WordPress, they don't have that chat infrastructure where you can chat immediately. So I want to embed under my website I design on Wix or WordPress. I want to embed a third-party application, okay, which is to call, okay, to call, to send a message, to chat, and so on and so forth. I don't need to go and build my own, okay? I have the likes of Google Meet, I have the likes of Zoom, I have the likes, like there's so many applications that I can leverage, software applications that I can actually I can get to incorporate into my website. So you see a lot of website nowadays, WhatsApp incorporated there. So WhatsApp is a software as a service. So I don't website. It's not you don't own website. You don't own WhatsApp. So you go to websites and you just see WhatsApp icon and you can interact with WhatsApp via the web. So this is a software as a service. So there are quite a number of software as a service that we use on a day-to-day basis, and that's what we get to work with. So that's the best way I would say I can go around explain. But infrastructure as a service, the one that provides you with the infrastructure that you need to work, to do your work. Okay, so you're a software engineer, you know how to code, you know how to develop, you know how to do all those things. Okay, all right. Then all you need is, you just need an infrastructure for you to host all these things. You know how to code, you can develop your codes easily. All right, fine and good. All right. So in order for you to host, you can just come to AWS, GCP, Azure, and all that. These are all infrastructure as a service. So they will give you the server, they will give you storage, they'll give you networking and so on. Well, take for example, we that don't know how to code, okay, or we want to build a website. Where do we go to? All right. So we go to places like Wix, WordPress to get designed websites. So I don't need to be a coder. I don't need to be a programmer, okay, to use Wix. Easily, I can just take the platform. I mean, I can access the platform, get the a website that I want, and use it for it. Okay. Then software as a service, on the other hand, is a third-party application, or I would say a software that you can easily you don't own, you don't own. You're just leveraging their service. Okay, all right. The likes of WhatsApp, the likes of Google Meet, the likes of Zoom, the likes of any application that you don't need to do anything. You just download and use immediately. That's a software as a service. So and so on and so forth. Okay. All right, so so if you look at that's exactly what we're going to be talking about as PaaS and SaaS. Okay, so why AWS? You would ask yourself. You notice I've mentioned it. AWS is still the biggest, and this is as of 2022. You're seeing this is the Gartner chart for 2022 platform infrastructure as a service. Okay, infrastructure as a service. Okay, so you see this is 2022, and you see AWS is still a leader in the industry. All right, still a leader in the industry, followed by you have Microsoft, which that is Azure, as Azure. So people say it's Azuri, so I'm not sure where they got that from. All right, so we have Google Cloud, which is also known as GCP on the other hand. So we have AWS here, all right, leader, then Azure and GCP. But you still have the likes of Alibaba Cloud, we have Oracle, these are all visionaries. Niche players, we have Tencent, we have IBM Cloud, and we have Huawei. Okay. So the big three markets, the big three dominate the big three dominates the global cloud markets. So we have AWS, we have Azure, and we have GCP. So you see this amounts 32%. Currently, this is Q1 of 2023. All right. So 23% Azure, 10% cloud, Google Cloud, and the rest of them, are just, scrambling for what they have. Like I said, they are niche players, so no much. Okay. So that's the reason why we focus more on AWS for our class. Okay, our training program. Okay. That's why we're focusing more on AWS. Now, in terms of cloud services, so if you're going into AWS, what cloud services would you work with as a data engineer? All right. Okay. What kind of cloud service? So for compute services, all right. For compute services, all right, you work with Amazon EC2, you work with AWS Lambda. For storage, you work with Amazon S3 buckets, you work with EBS, you work with Glacier, security, and when you're talking about security, securing your data, securing your passwords, securing your user, securing all the things on your website, on your cloud platform. You have IAM, IAM, okay, you have AWS KMS, you have for database services, DynamoDB, RDS, Redshift. These are very common names that you'll be familiar with. Monitoring and logging, you have Amazon CloudWatch. Integration and ETL. I'm just going to give you the next, couple of minutes for us to walk through how AWS looks like real quick. So I'm just going to log into my AWS account and show you exactly what I have here. All right, so this is how AWS looks like. So this is the interface for AWS. It doesn't look so intimidating, correct? So you don't need to be a massive. You don't need so much to get started. That's the interesting thing. And like I said at the start of the session, you just need somebody to hold your hands and guide you through the process of getting started. Honestly speaking, all right. Now, in terms of services, I talked about services in the previous slide. So we have quite a number of services. AWS has over, I think, close to 100 services, if not more than. Okay. All right. So if you click on this top right corner, top left corner, you'll see services. All right. And now you'll see services, analytics. So AWS has they have so many services that you could use for different purposes. Now, take for example, analytics, for example. There are so many, so many services that you could actually use for. There are some of them are niche, some of them are, but those are the beauty of you going through a training program that will take you through it. Okay. All right. So you have Athena, serverless interactive analytics, and that's for you to work with SQL, write your SQL queries, and so on and so forth. Okay. You have AWS Clean Room, Cloud Search, AWS Data Exchange, Data Pipeline. This is for orchestration for data driven workflows. So for building your pipelines, ETL pipelines, and so on and so forth. All right. So you see it also AWS Glue. You see it's part of the services that you are going to work with. Okay. AWS Glue for data integration and ETL. So you building your data pipeline. All right. You can see you can start to work with these tools. And the good thing about these things are they are not so technical to work with. Yes, you need to learn a bit, of underlying background to grow, but that's why we have the platform to teach you what you need to learn. All right. So you can see here database. All right. So you see you have Amazon database, document DB, you have DynamoDB, you have Elasticsearch, you have Amazon Key Spaces, you have RDS, and so on and so forth. For security, to secure, all right, you have IAM, you have your Cognito, you have your key, where is it? Key management service, key management service. You have your Amazon inspector. So IAM Identity Center, IAM to manage access to AW resources. So, when somebody joins the team, somebody leaves the team, you need to be able to give access to people to access your cloud. And, basically from this IAM, that's where you start to assign roles to people within the organization or within your team. Okay. Or you're building a data pipeline, you want to give people access to the pipeline or the result or whatever it is working on, then you could use that with the IAM. So security is very, very important, essentially. So you have a list of services, and obviously you can't learn everything. All right. Some of them are for blockchain. You don't need that. All right. That's as an AWS cloud engineer. You probably don't need that. Okay. Front end and web develop. You don't need front end. You're not a web front end designer. Do you understand? So the reasons why we have limited we've looked at the key services that you need to learn for what we call AWS cloud engineering. AWS cloud engineering. So these are the key services that you need to learn in order for you to become a cloud engineer. Okay, AWS cloud engineer. All right. So, and that's the reason why we went in terms of salaries. Okay, the average salary of a data engineer, these are all sources. You can see there on the source there's Glassdoor for the UK. For the US it is Indeed, and Canada also Indeed. All right, so the average salary of a data engineer in the UK is £55,000. Okay, per annum. It's not per month. Okay, per annum. Okay, now in Canada, okay, it's 102,000 Canadian dollars, okay, and in the US it's 121 US dollars, okay. So obviously, these are the average, meaning that you can get more, or you could get close, or you could get exactly what you have there. So these are the opportunities that exist, and I like to show people that I'm like I said, I'm based in the UK, so I'll just go online. I'll still show you remote opportunities anyways for you to see. And I'm going to show you, I'm just going to go to read.co.uk. All right. Read is one part, is a place you can actually go to yourself. All right. And I'm going to just search for data engineer. Okay, and search. Okay. And you see, these are roles, data engineering roles, okay, that exist at the moment. So you see, the average salary doesn't, it's not too far-fetched. So you see, the data engineer five, just 50 to 70, data engineer 50 to 70, data engineer 65 to 70,000 pounds, data engineer 40 to 65, data engineer 50 to 65. And the good thing also, you could also look at AWS, okay, AWS cloud engineer, same thing. Okay, cloud engineer, AWS. See, AWS cloud engineer. This is 530 to 565. per day, not per week, not per month. This is what you're getting per day for 5 days in a week. Same thing here. You see, 500 to 600 pounds per day. What people are working, yeah, and that's why I usually tell people, like, what you know will open so much space for you. All right, what you know would open so much, so much opportunity that you never thought you can actually get. Obviously, you need to work, okay, in order for you to get this. You need to put down your head to do this. So you see this also 500 pounds per day. You have 90 to 125,000, but this is a senior role rather. This one is AWS Cloud Engineer, 82, and these are all roles that you can actually take on. All right. So these are the things that opportunity that exists that you can actually latch into. That's one thing you need. You can actually get this opportunity. And that's the reason why we started the data engineering training program. Okay. So there is so much, there is, as at, couple of months ago, all right, it was almost every single day people reaching out. Oh, I had to go and delete my profile on that particular platform. It was on my CV library. So if you're in the UK and you know the CV library, you know, it's a wonderful place for you to get quite a number of opportunities. I had to delete my profile on, or turn off the notification rather on my CV library. Almost every other day was a call, was a text message, or something asking, "Oh, I'm currently recruiting for a data engineering role. Are you available for a talk? Are you available for it?" And I'm like, so you see, this opportunity exists, but people are not even latching into this opportunity. All right. And why is it? Why is that? Because they don't have the skill set, they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the experience to get started. That's the reason why we started the data engineering training program. So this is your pathway to becoming a certified data engineer. All right, this is your path. This is your pathway to becoming, a certified data engineer. So, what's the program overview? What would you get from the training program? First of all, 100% online learning. So, like I said, remote working. All right, you want to get a remote job. So that's the reason most people want to get into the tech space in the first place. So if you want to get a remote job, you also get started with learning remotely. Do you understand? So 100% online learning, okay, virtual instructor led, like what you did today. All right. So the past 1 hour plus, we've been talking, all right, and you've been learning. I want to believe you learned something new today. All right. So you have 100% online learning, plus a lifetime access to the materials. So the video recordings, the session, the experts, you have lifetime access to the materials from the training program, lifetime access. Okay. Now the next part is hands-on practical sessions. Okay, so today we did more of just talking you through because it's a beginner training program. Honestly, you can't learn data engineering in 1 hour. Well, as you go on, you note your sessions are more practical. And if you've attended, previous master classes, you would see that it is all practical. You learn by practice. All right. So it's hands-on practical sessions with videos, recording, exercises, projects for you to test yourself, for you to keep pushing yourself, so on and so forth. Now, the next part is 20 plus classes, 50 plus topics of data engineering, cloud engineering, and so on. 100% job visibility, prospect visibility. I will talk more about that as we go on. I showed you just a few, just on one job site, anyways, but I'll show you a few as we go on. Don't worry. The key thing for us is for you to learn and you being able to push yourself out there to get these international opportunities. Okay. The next part of it is industry relevant certification. So you get a certificate once you finish the training program. And the cool thing about this is the amount of projects you will work on during the course of the program. You would work on quite an immersive number of projects, and you would have added at least 10 projects to your portfolio. You would have added 10 projects to your portfolio. So now, how do you get started in data engineering? Very quick, I'm going to go through this in the next couple of minutes. How do you get started in data engineering? That's a key question. First thing, you need to understand the basics. What is data? We did a couple of them today. What's a database? What's the difference between a database, data mart, data lake, then data warehouse, and so on and so forth? What's the difference between all of them? You need to understand the basics. So introduction to data engineering covers the basics. What is normalization? What is data modeling? What's the difference between on-premise cloud, like we talked about today? understand the basics. All right. Then we move into the technical part of it, Python and SQL. Okay, Python and SQL. So this is the part where you start to learn Python, you start to work with Python programming, you start to work with SQL. So, SQL basically is that tool that allows you to access the database, query the database, and so on. All right. Then moving on to the next thing, we have batch commands and version control. You're going to be working with Linux and GitHub. Okay. So when you talk about version control, for example, okay, version control is something that cloud gives you access to. Okay. One of the major, beauty of working with the cloud. So take for example, you're working on your Word document. You're working on your Word document, okay? And all of a sudden your system goes off, okay? And you turn it back on and you find out that that Word document you're working on, all the information, all the things you've been typing the past 1 hour, gone into the wind, into the thin air. Do you understand? Those things it pains a lot. And that's why you see a lot of people now working directly from the cloud. You're working on OneDrive, your documents are saved, you know, your document is saved online. Okay, your document is saved on OneDrive, your document is saved in the cloud. So that real time, okay, your document is saving immediately. So even if there was a glitch or something happens, you can always revert back to the previous version. Okay, so it's saved every minute. So meaning that if something crashes, okay, the most recent one will be last minute. So you're not losing a lot. So that's one aspect of version control. The other aspect is, let's say you're writing code. We know what coding is. Okay, you're writing your code, and you find out that while you're writing your code, okay, you've written quite a number of code. It was running before. It was running perfectly before. Okay, but you started to do some additional optimization, and you're trying to make some adjustments, and you find out that you were getting errors, a lot of errors. Okay, now instead of you working your way back, okay, you can just revert to the previous version that was working perfectly. So you see, those are the things that you can implement during what we call version control. All right. So as a data engineer, you need to be able to work with version control because you're going to be building pipelines, you're going to be working with, different kinds of systems and all that. All right. And you want to be able to keep versions of whatever you're working on. So if something doesn't work, let's revert back to the previous version and so on. And we'll talk about the best practice and so on and so forth. All right. Moving on to the next thing, data modeling. You talk about data modeling. This is where you start to talk about your facts, your dimension table, data warehouse modeling. You talk about database modeling. You talk about normalization. Under normalization, you have the first normal form, second, third, and fourth normal form. What does this thing mean? That's what you'll be explaining. That's what you understand in the data modeling class. Moving on from data modeling, you have pandas. Okay, so you have start to work with pandas for exploration, start to work with pandas for, cleaning your data, to working with different versions of pandas, working with pandas to extract API data sources and so on. You move to Apache PySpark. Okay, this is where you now start to use Spark for, distributed system. Now, we talked about how data is becoming big. Okay, so doing that on once, don't let me, yeah. So, because of big data, okay, because of the fact that you're working with big data, using just what we call one system, which is, let us say, your local machine, okay, rather than just running it on one local machine, why not run it on multiple machines at the same time? So that's what we call distributed systems. So you're going to work with Apache Spark for what we call distributed systems. All right. So how can you do Apache? How can you use Apache Spark for data exploration? How could you use pandas also for data extraction? I mean, all right. So how can you use pandas, Apache Spark, PySpark for data extraction, data cleaning, data transformation, so on and so forth. So there's something we call ETL. Okay. There's something that we refer to as in the process ETL. E stands for extract. Okay. Okay, T stands for transform, okay, and L stands for load, okay, extract, transform, and load. So you're extracting data from the data source, all right? You're transforming it. That means you are doing your data cleaning and transformation, and then after you are loading the data. So exactly what you've been working on as a data engineer. Most times you'll be building pipelines, ETL pipelines, all right, to extract data from the source, transform it, and load it into a destination source. So, after learning all that, you'll move into cloud computing, working with AWS, which is Amazon Web Services. So it's a cloud platform that we talked about today. So AWS, Amazon Web Services, cloud computing, you need to understand it, all right? Introduction, introducing to the interface, like I introduced it to you today, in more in-depthly, I would say. Moving on, then you start to work with data pipeline, and orchestration. Orchestration basically just talks about you automating your pipeline. Okay, you automating your pipeline. And after you go through all this, you can see how structured it is. So you start from introduction to data engineering, you move into Python and SQL. So you learn Python, you learn SQL, and then you now combine them together, Python and SQL together. Then you move into batch commands and version control, Linux and GitHub. Then you move into data modeling, pandas, PySpark, data extraction, data cleaning, cloud computing, data pipeline and orchestration. And you get your certificate as a master data engineer. All right. And that's the way you'll be celebrating once you're done with the program and you have several job offers waiting for you. That's the way you celebrate. Trust me. All right. So you see, you're going to be getting the slides, like I said. All right, so the slide, this is a more detailed, so I give you eye level over here. So over here is detailed exactly what would you be learning in each of those topics. So data engineering fundamentals, introduction, database introduction, cloud computing, that's what you learn. Python programming, what is Python, data types, file handling, loops, functions, and so on. You talk about exploration data analysis, processing JSON, Python database programming. You work with SQL, DDL, DML, DQL, all right, and so on. So basically, end to end, as much information as you get. And guess what? These things are practical. They're not theoretical. These are all practical based training program. Like I said, if you've ever been on our masterclass, you could always check it out. So we did a session last week. Last week you could just go to our YouTube channel. All right. So if you go to our YouTube channel, all right, just gonna go to Google account, search channel. Okay. So you see this, you'll see we had a session, build your first ETL pipeline, building your first ETL pipeline. All right. So build your first ETL pipeline. You see there, build your first ETL data pipeline using Python and SQL. So this is how you're going to learn. Okay. This just like this is just a tip of the iceberg, rather. Okay. So it's practical. It's teaching you practical. This is a session, a masterclass we held last week. So you can go to our YouTube channel, you can check it out, you can watch more. There's quite a number of sessions. You'll see if I go back, you'll see that we have quite a number of sessions. If I go to videos, you'll see we have quite a number of free sessions that we've done. Okay, data engineering to Python to so on and so forth. So check it out, anyways. So, like I said, the data engineering roadmap, okay, this is more detailed, exactly what you'll be learning under each of the topic that we talked about. All right. Then moving on from there, cloud engineering, data cleaning, data pipeline, AWS, that's Amazon Web Services, and so on and so forth. All right. Now, the good thing about the training program is what I've talked about earlier. Okay, it's not just the technical skills that get you the job. Okay, it's not just you. Oh, I know data engineering. So everybody that is applying that needs a job will likely still come here to search for a job. Okay, will likely still come and search for a job. Say, take for example, I am looking to get this particular role. Okay, so I'm looking to get this particular role. Everybody would look at this role, apply for it. Okay, now what makes you different from other applicants? What makes a recruiter to see your CV and call you to say that, oh, I want to speak to you. Okay, it's not just about the technical skills. You can be very good, but guess what? If your CV, which is the first thing here, if your CV is not good enough, all right, you will likely get a rejection. There are times that you apply for a job and immediately you apply for that job, you get an instant rejection. You get instant rejection. It has happened before. Now, most times you think that it is you that is at fault. You think that the recruiter saw your CV and just rejected you. But no, there is something we call ATS, applicant tracking software. All right. So it's not a human that sent that rejection email. It's a computer, okay, called the applicant tracking software. So if certain keywords or certain words are not developed, if you don't have certain, if your uh okay, if your CV is not standard enough, all right, certain keywords, certain structure is not in place, you'll likely get a rejection. So what we're going to do for you, the first thing we're going to do within the first 2 weeks of your learning is to revamp your CV. So rather than even review, we would revamp it. Okay, revamp your CV. So you're coming in as a you've always been doing customer service, for example. How can you get a job in data engineering with the kind of CV that you have? It's impossible. So what we're going to do for you is a total overhaul, a total revamp of your CV. Even if you're working in the bank before, we'll revamp your CV. So those are the things that you get from going through the training program. Secondly, you would have LinkedIn optimization. LinkedIn optimization. So this is where we optimize your LinkedIn profile so that when recruiters are looking for similar roles that you are looking for, okay, your profile will pop up. So if a recruiter goes on LinkedIn, LinkedIn is still one of the major places where you can get opportunity, remote, full time, any kind of opportunity you're looking for. LinkedIn is still that place for you to get those opportunities. So if you go on LinkedIn, all right, if a recruiter goes on LinkedIn and searches for, oh, I'm looking for a data engineer, the key question is, would your profile appear? All right. So it's just like search engine optimization. You go on Google and you search the best restaurant near me. That's the first thing that comes up is that it will provide you with the most accurate place for you to get that result. So that's exactly LinkedIn optimization. So if a recruiter goes on LinkedIn and searches for data engineer, cloud engineer, AWS engineer, would your profile appear? So that's what we're going to do for you. We're going to optimize your LinkedIn profile to give you more visibility. Remember, 100% job visibility. That's what we'll do for you over here. All right. So Upwork optimization also. All right. Upwork is a platform for you to get quite a number of freelance positions. You could check it out yourself. I'm not sure that I don't have too much. I don't want to take too much time. So, but you could check it out. Upwork. I'm just going to go. I like to show people so people see themselves. So you see it here. Find the best freelance jobs. Browse jobs posted on Upwork to jump right in and create a profile. So you need to create a profile for you to access the opportunity to work freelance and all that. So you are a data engineer, you go to the value D. You see, you have different roles that you could actually do. You could work as, let me see, data cleaning. There's a data analyst, there is a DevOps engineer, there is data cleaning analyst. So there are other specific database design and construction, all right, and so on. So there are quite a number of roles that you could actually take on here as a freelance. Okay. Okay. So that's Upwork. So we're going to optimize your Upwork profile. We're going to do that for you. We'll optimize your Upwork profile. Okay. We can take it off from there. So the next thing is navigating the job market. Okay. So where did you apply for these jobs? So you want to work remotely. That's the key question. You want to work remotely. Okay. You're in Nigeria. Where do you get these jobs from? Where do you get these jobs from? What kind of jobs can you do? What kind of jobs can you do? That's another question. What kind of jobs can you do? So you see, opportunities are plenty, are immersed. There are plenty. And I'm just gonna go online. I'm just gonna search it. There's something we call BI, okay? Business intelligence engineer. A lot of people believe they can't do this. Intelligence engineer. All right. Business intelligence engineer. So see the number of roles you could actually apply for. Business intelligence engineer, the data engineer. So so BI engineer, data engineer, like these roles exist. So a lot of people feel like they can't do it. A lot of people feel that they can't do it. So you see, navigating the job market basically is talking about what kind of roles can I apply for? All right. So if I learn data engineering, should I be searching for just data engineering role? Absolutely not. All right. There's ETL developer. There is BI engineer, like I just showed you. Where do you apply for these jobs? You could go on, there are very popular sources where you can get remote jobs. Upwork is one of them. Okay, LinkedIn is another place for you to get remote jobs, so on and so forth. So, I like to show, I don't know if we have enough time, but if, let's just see if maybe as we go on, I'll show you that of LinkedIn also. But, LinkedIn is, everybody has LinkedIn profile and you could always check it out. Okay. So, just because of fact, I like to show facts. Just give me a second. I'm going to show you in just a few minutes. Okay. That's not my LinkedIn profile. I'm just going to look for where I have my LinkedIn profile. Okay. All right. Well, let me just go. My browser is not. All right, so the next part of it is recommendation and reference letter. All right, so we'll write recommendation and reference letter for you. So you apply for a job or you apply for a master's or you need some form of recommendation. Now, majority of us are just getting started, okay? That want to get into the space. You're looking to get started. You've been working as a banker before. Your previous role is likely not going to give you that recommendation letter that you need to get that job because you're working as a banker, you're working in customer service. They won't stand in for you. Okay. No organization would do that. That's unethical. Now, because you've gone through our curriculum, you've worked on several projects with us, all right? You've done the virtual internship, you've done all those things with us, all right? We can stand in for you, all right? You can claim work experience from Technalytics, and that's why we can offer you with recommendation and reference letter. Okay. Now, number six, on the other hand, is job and interview preparation. So once you apply for a job, you have your CV revamped, you have your LinkedIn optimized, you have Upwork optimized, you know how to navigate the job market, you apply for these jobs, you get a call, and you get an interview. All right, you get an interview. Okay. So what we're going to do for you is simple. We will prepare you, all right, for that interview. So we have what we call the mock interview session. Mock interview session. So we'll give you potential questions that are likely going to come out, that are likely going to be asked during the interview. All right. And we'll ask you to prepare for the mock interview. So a day, depending on the timeline, usually like a day set aside for just the mock interview. So we have like 1 hour, 2 hour session where we, simulate a real life interview process, asking you those questions that might likely going to come out. So we have, the first one is tell me about yourself. Okay. Tell me about yourself. Okay. That's like the most asked questions. You should expect it. It might not come out as tell me about yourself, but it might come out as, oh, can we meet you? Okay, can we meet you? How do you answer these questions? Very simple. We have this approach, okay, that we use called the SEAT approach. It's an acronym. Don't worry, if you go to the training program, I'll tell you. Well, the most popular one that I can also tell you is scenario-based, questions. Tell me about a time you did something in your office. Tell me about a time you built a pipeline and you had issues with your pipeline. Tell me about a time you migrated data from one source to another source. Those kind of questions are what we call scenario-based questions. So how do you answer those ones? There's something we call the STAR approach. So you have the situation. All right, this one is very common. We have we have the action, all right, and you have results. Okay. All right. So situation, task, action, and result. How do you answer those questions? How do you answer scenario-based questions using the STAR technique? You need to be able to structure it properly, and that's what we help you do during the interview preparation session. So different roles you can apply for: business intelligence developer, data engineer, big data analyst, in analytics engineer, ETL developer, technical architect, data science engineer, quantitative data engineer, and so on and so on. There's still some more that you could actually apply to. All right. So I talked about freelance and earning in dollars. Okay, Upwork is one of the best places you could actually get those freelance opportunities. Top sites you could actually access for remote jobs: LinkedIn, Upwork, Glassdoor, LinkedIn, Wellfound, Indeed, so on and so forth. So you could check out these places to get remote opportunity. The internship is one of the best things that will happen to you. Trust me. All right. So one first thing that I can tell you is one, you can add it to your CV. You could actually claim work experience going through the training program. So that boosts. So Ten Analytics is that platform. that will get you started. Do you understand? That will get you started. That will make you that springboard that you're looking for, that trampoline to get you into the space that you're looking for. So you can leverage experience. Oh, yes, I currently work as a data engineer with analytics, and these are the kind of projects, these are the kind of things that I've done working as a data engineer with analytics. So you can leverage us to getting that next job. And that's what people have used in getting all the jobs they are looking at. All right. So during the internship, you would have 1 month to own your skill. 1 month to own your skill. So here you're going to be working on more immersive projects, web scraping projects, web scraping from different data from web applications like Amazon, scraping their website, getting the data, putting it in the database, scheduling it. So when they add a new product or every day you're running the script to get more data from the website and so on and so forth. How do you work with API sources and so on? So you're going to be working with more immersive projects that will get you, owning your skills, get you more practical, get you more hands-on, more experience. So when you're talking to a recruiter, you can definitely talk extensively about the kind of projects you worked on. So an estimate is you'll get to work with 6 additional projects to what you did during the program itself. Okay. And you will get number 4. All right. Project review with an expert. Project review with an expert. And that's exactly what you get. So 1 month, you add it to your CV. You can add that experience to your CV. You can own your skill. You're going to definitely own your skill. You're going to work on more projects and you get that project review with an expert, someone in the industry that has that hands-on experience working you through it. Facilitators, you would have myself, Ifemena, one of the facilitators to guide you through the program. You have Timmy Olujinka, and you can check them out on LinkedIn. All right, their profile is there. You'll see the wealth of experience that they have. All right, so Timmy, your wealth of experience trained over 800 people across the world, okay, on data engineering and help them transition. So these are the kind of people you want to work with, people that will literally are there to hold your hands and guide you through into the tech space. So Kelvin also experienced data engineer, okay? Spent the last 6 years helping businesses build optimal cloud infrastructure and performant data pipelines and analytic solutions to power their analytics and ML, that's machine learning and artificial intelligence initiatives. So you see, these are people that have done it on the big scale. All right. Obina, the same thing. You see, he has been instrumental in the flagship, all right, in the technical product support for flagship digital and retail products generating billions of naira annually and servicing millions of customers across one of Africa's largest banking brands. So these are guys that have done it on a big scale, that have done it on a large scale, that will come to come and hold you and guide you through the process. Byron, also data engineer, 6 years experience, multiple sectors, also one of the experienced facilitators, helps quite a number of people from analytics also get jobs in data engineering. The one of recent is the one I got a job with as a data engineer with the NHS in the UK. All right. So these are the kind of opportunity that you're going to get. Ibrahim Animasha, machine learning engineer, brand data UK, experienced doctor, learned data engineering, learned machine learning, combined it together, and currently works as a data engineer, a machine learning engineer, all right, within the healthcare sector. All right, Abdulrahman Wura, data science contractor, consultant, Big Four consulting in the UK. All right. So you see, I have built multiple AI use cases and at different organizations, which covers increasing revenue, reducing operational improving work efficiency, and providing reports and so on and so forth. All right. We have Daniel Opanubi, also experienced data engineer, one of the facilitators for the training program. The training program is going to be starting on the 4th of November. So this is the last a last call for people looking to get started in data engineering. So you see, beginner-friendly training program, end to end, all right, in 3 months. The training fee is £500, which is equivalent to 500,000 naira. Now we're doing a last early bird discount for people looking to get started. So this is the last time we're going to be running the masterclass on data engineering for people looking to get started in data engineering. So the program is going to be starting on the 4th of November. 4th of November, that's next week Saturday. So we have, this discount is just for the last set of people looking to get started in data engineering. This is the program, this is the last program for the year. Okay. So they were running an early bird discount still for people looking to get started in data engineering. All right. So you could pay in pounds or you could pay in naira. Okay. All right. So in pounds, instead of paying £500, the discounted amount is £400. You could actually pay £400 or the naira equivalent of 400,000 naira. But that's not all. You could also pay in two installments. All right. You could pay in two installments. So you could actually pay this to secure your space, £300. All you need now to secure your space for the 4th of November, for the course starting on the 4th of November, is £300 or 300,000 naira. So that would secure your space for the class starting on the 4th of November. All right. And the second installment you see here, the second installment comes after one program, after 1 month into the program. 1 month into the program, that's when you could actually pay the balance of either £100 or 100,000 naira. Okay, so this is the last class for the year. So if you're looking to get a head start next year, all right, this is the time for you to register. So if you're looking to become a data engineer within the first quarter of next year, when everybody's looking to hire new people, get started in data engineering, this is the best time for you to start learning, to be honest with you. So put down your head, okay, and let's see how we can get started. The training program is starting on the 4th of November next week. That's literally next week, Saturday. So this discount is only going to last till Sunday. Sorry, till Sunday. All right. In order for us to prepare for next week. So if you're looking to get started, you just have a very short duration of time to secure your space for the class starting on the 4th of November. All right. So you could also just click the link. All right. If you want to make payment through using your card, please just click on the main stack link. Ibelia has pasted it on the chat. Benga has pasted it on the chat. So you see Benga has pasted it on the chat with the card for card payments. All you need to do is click on the main stack link, all right, in the chat, and we can get started. All right. So first of all, you can get access to all the brochures. That's the first link you see here. The first tab you see here. Get access to all the program brochures. All right. And you see data engineering is there, November 2023. I'm going to double click on it. Okay. And you see details of the program itself. Why data engineering? Become a data engineer, all the things you need to learn, the technologies, everything you need to know about the training program, everything is there, opportunities, the learning time, and so on and so forth. Everything is in the brochure. All right. Everything is in the brochure. So now, if I go back here, okay, so, once if you want to make payments in Naira, you want to make payments, which is 300,000 Naira. All right. You could also just click here. You see Naira payment, Naira card payment, pay stack, full and first part payment. Click on this and it's going to take you to a new page. All right. And you search for data engineering, which is what you have here. So you can either pay the part payment of 300,000 naira or the full payment of 400,000 naira. So if you click on this, all right, you could click the drop down for either full payment or part payment, anyone. So the part payment is 300,000 naira. Then you pay the balance of 100,000 naira next 1 month into the training program. Okay, that's one thing you need to know. So you have enough time to prepare for the second payment. And trust me, you are going to get absolute value from the training program. All right. So yes, that's for card payments using Naira card. And if you are in the UK, you want to make payments using your card. All right. GPP, okay, GPP, PayPal. You could also make payment, either full payment or first part payment. Okay, so click on first part payment. You're going to pay £300. Sorry, that's for the other program. So you see data engineering is different. All right. So PayPal for data engineering, first part payment. You click on that. All right. And you see £300. So you can click here to buy. All right. Click on PayPal. And you could just use your card payment. So you can pay directly using your card via PayPal in order for you to in order for you to make payment. and and so on. So for CAD, so if you're in Canada, you also want to make payments. These are the places you can make payments. And if you want to make payments via direct transfers, okay, you could also do the same thing over here. All right, UK bank account, Nigerian bank account, and so on and so forth. All right. All right, so those are the key things that you need to take into consideration. And once you make payment, please click here to upload your full and to upload your receipts. Okay, so once you make payment, please receipt. I can see some people send me direct messages. I'm going to take questions very soon. Okay, don't worry. So once you make payment, this is just click here to upload your receipt of payment, and that's what you need to do. All right. So let's take it off from there. Kanayo is here in the house, which is our previous participant. Okay, so Kanayo, do you want to can we hear from you? Okay, Kanayo, we can't hear you. I know you're speaking, but I don't think we can hear you. We can't hear you. Bigger, am I the one can you hear Kanayo?
I cannot hear him.
Okay, all right. So Kanayo, I think your microphone might you might want to change your device so we can hear you better. All right, so
Can you hear me
Kanayo
now?
is, oh, fantastic. And do you want to turn on your video so we can get to see you also? Oh, Kanayo, it's good to see you. Kanayo Dennis Kano, the big man in the house. You get me? Oh, sorry. Did I turn off? Okay, sorry. I think something went off with you. I was trying to pin you. Okay. How are you doing today, Kanayo?
I'm doing good.
Okay, so yes, I was introducing you earlier that you're currently one of our participants on the training program, and you would like to, say a thing or two about your experience so far. So I'm going to hand over to you to share your own experience.
Okay. I'm currently a student on data engineering 10 analytics May cohort. So I joined in May, and I'm currently doing growth internship program. So my task is to do some web scraping projects. So I'm supposed to scrape data from an online marketplace and then forward that to my data science team so they can make their own analysis and other stuffs. So I was thinking of sharing my screens to show maybe a sample of my work.
Oh
Is that
yeah,
possible?
sure. Oh, that's absolutely perfect. Yeah, please show your project. Let's see. Okay, yes, we can share.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, absolutely visible. Everything.
Okay.
Do you want to make
So
it full screen so we can actually see? It looks like it's small. Is it a full screen?
it's full screen.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, please.
So I first start by importing the necessary libraries for the project. So request library,
So
beautiful soup.
do you know what we'll do? We'll make it more interactive rather than going through the codes. Okay. So can we see the website you want to get the data from first of all? So we take it up from there, and tell us what you want to scrape from the website.
No, just do this. So this is like a sample website for say for people who are learning how to scrape. So it's a sample website. So it's for this for art books, online marketplace for books, different books on the website. So I'm to extract, the book, the image, review, the title, and the price. Okay.
So the data analyst, the data scientist, they need this to perform some form of analysis. So you as a
Yes.
data engineer, you are trying to go on the platform. Take for example, you want to open your own bookstore, okay? And you want to see the books that people enjoy the most. Okay. So rather than you buying several books, Okay, the organization, for every organization, you want to be able to make a decision to know what kind of products you want to sell. So if you're going into books, take for example, and you want to start selling books, you will need information like this. All right. So looking at the first book that you have there, that one is 51 pounds, 51 pounds. Okay. And the lights in the Arctic. Okay. And you can see the rating is 3 out of 5. So meaning that, people are rating it good. But the likes of Tipping the Velvet is just 1 star. So you might not want to invest in buying such kind of books in your own marketplace, in your own bookstore. Do you understand? So those are the things that we're trying to do with this particular project. So you're going to be scraping the website, correct? So
Yes, sir.
where are you going to be putting it? Let's walk through the code now to see where you're going to be. When you script the
So
website, what happens next?
I'll scrape all the data, like the image, the title, the star rating, the price, and I'll put them in a CSV file. So I'm going to name it books.csv.
Okay, so that's more or less like your staging area, correct? Your
Yes,
staging.
this is my thing.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so after staging, what next? What would you do with your staging area, if I would ask? What's just to confirm, or what do you do with your staging area?
So this is where I can like make any necessary, I can correct any errors, I can detect any change, anything that needs to be worked on.
Oh, fantastic. Beautiful. So that staging area, you want to check it out. You want to see how it looks. You want to see if there are errors, if there are issues in your data. So rather than just moving the data and dropping it in a database and all of it, you put it in the staging environment or a staging area for you to take a look at how the data looks like. Okay, so this is what it looks like, correct? So this is a
Yes.
CSV file, comma separated value file. Okay. All right, fantastic. So the title, the star, and the price of the books. Okay, fantastic. So after staging, what do you do next? If I would ask.
Normally I would send it to probably like a database,
Mm-hmm,
but this is just my own personal, because I'm working, I did some, touch up, some just brief learning.
mm-hmm,
So it's the project is not just, it's me scraping, where is it again? So I made a loop because I wanted to
mm-hmm.
get like 50 rows of 50 pages, sorry. So it's not just one page. I scraped the whole website. If I can go back here to the end, you can see it has 50 pages. So I didn't just
Oh,
go for one page. I scraped the whole thing.
impressive. That's impressive. So you went from page one. It's like you automated it to be good from page
Yes, from
one
page
to
1 to
page two,
50.
all the way to 50. That's impressive. So you script all the entire website, the title of the book, the price of the book, and what else? The rating of the book, correct?
Yes.
Exactly. So once you're done with that, what happens next?
To load it to a database. If this was a production environment, I have to load that to a database for further analysis. But it's just a
Okay.
personal project.
This is a passion project. Okay. So this is one of the projects you did in class, essentially, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. All right, this is impressive. This is impressive. Well, were you a programmer before? Like, were you doing programming before? Were you doing any form of coding or were you an expert or
And
what
I
were you
was
doing
an
before?
expert
So you've been learning this in just how many months now? Being in the
since May.
program?
So that's about 4 months.
Okay, amazing. So see the kind of things that you do, all right, just going through the program structure. So, Dennis, I don't know, what would you say for somebody that is looking to get started anyways? What advice would you tell the
I would say they
person?
should just come on board immediately.
Sharply. All right. That's absolutely fantastic. So, then thanks for taking out time on the Thursday to speak with people that are looking to get started in data engineering. I'm sure you had a good time and sure you're still having a good time. I think you're going into your internship now, your capstone
I've started
project.
already.
You started already, which is fantastic. Okay, that's great. So, thank you very much, Kanayo. Really appreciate you taking out time out of your schedule to speak to us today. Really appreciate you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kanayo. Appreciate it. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, guys. So you see, all you need to do is just get started. To be honest with you, all you need to do is get started. So, like I said, we have the training program starting on the 4th of November, and if you're looking to get started, this is the best platform for you to get started. All you need to do is deposit your £300 or 300,000 naira to get started. And, the rest is history. You will remember. Most people are looking to get started in data engineering, data science, or any other career path. But the key thing is invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. When you start earning 300, £200 per day, £400 per day, you will remember, this investment you're making yourself, which is just £300 once in a lifetime opportunity. All right. So I'm just going to take you through the typical classroom, what the classroom looks like. And I think I'll take some questions and we'll call it a day. All right. So rather, let me just take some questions. So if you have any questions, I'll take questions and I think I'll take it off from there. So if you have any questions, please raise up your hands and I'll take a question. I think I have some questions in the chat. So Adams Timothy said, I was told it is difficult for freshers to get a job with sponsorship as a junior data analyst, junior data engineer in UK. So when I start data analytics, what do you advise? So, people will only advise you based on the limitation of their knowledge, of their experience. So there are quite a number of places you can actually get. Majority of the tech firms across the UK, all right, need data engineers, and they offer sponsorship, data engineer. So it's not only data engineer that you can get a job as. You can get a job AWS cloud engineering, BI engineering, and so on. So there are quite a number of other roles, and that's why we have navigating the job market for you to actually know the kind of jobs you can apply to. So a lot of people will just think, oh, data analyst, data analyst. Do you understand? Okay. All right. And that's because that's what they see. All right. But for roles in data engineering, you could also get jobs, sponsor job. I mean, somebody, like I said, Byron actually just helped somebody get, walk the person through interview preparation, one of the facilitators in getting a job with the NHS, sponsored. Do you understand? Data engineering role. So these are the kind of things you could actually do. Okay. Evelyn is also asking, Sneh, let me ask you to unmute yourself. I'm not sure if that's your real name, but I'm asking you to okay, yes.
Okay, good evening.
Good evening, yes.
Please, I want to ask a quick question because when filling the attendance form, I find out that there is another date for January 6th.
Yes.
Please.
So
And
we don't have
now
anyone running this month, this year again. The next one we're running is next year, January.
January 6th.
Yes.
Okay, but is it possible to register now ahead of that January 6th? Because I'm not around and I can't actually focus now. That's why I didn't pick this next week
Okay.
batch.
All right, yeah, sure. 100%. You can pay now and what do you call this, and push it to January. All right. So you could actually indicate that you are not you're paying for January batch, not this year's batch, not for November batch. All
And
right.
please,
So
what is the duration, please?
it's for 3 months, 3 months and 1 month free internship. So you have 4 months in total to be with analytics.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So you can secure your place now and, indicate that you would like to start in January, which is not too bad. So secure your place. The key thing here is the price, the discount. The early bird is not going to last for too long. It's not going to last next year, definitely. Today's price is not tomorrow's price. So that's one thing you guys need to understand. So if you're looking to get started and you're waiting to next year, all right, this training program was 350 last month, 350,000 last month because of exchange rate, because of so many issues, economic downturns and all that, this is affect. So you want to secure your position, before it's too late. All right. So some people are asking about people that have gotten opportunities, So you see here, this is the first one I was talking about. So you see, thank you for organizing the interview prep with Byron. I appreciate it. Good afternoon. How did it go? And you see it here. Hi, Billy. I got the job. Just waiting for a formal confirmation. This is Chizoba. Okay, got a job in the UK, like I said, with the NHS. Okay, and these are things that you think that cannot happen. Okay, and it's a data engineering role. She currently got a job as a data engineer. All right, Idris at DBC, data engineer, Jaguar Land Rover, also based in the UK. All right. So these are all that quite a number of opportunities, a lot of people that have gone ahead to get jobs across different aspects. So like Benga said, so we have quite a number of them on our YouTube channel. You could actually go and listen to them, okay? And you'll get the material. So meaning that you can click on the links here and you can access the recording, the YouTube page. So our testimonials, if you're following us on Instagram, you see it on Instagram. If you're following us on Twitter, you see it on Twitter. Or just follow us on all platforms. You'll see all these testimonials. And we also want you to be part of the people that will share their testimonials. Most people are always looking out for, you could be the success story. You could also add to the success stories of, what we are trying to build here. So if you're looking to get started, this is the best time for you to get started. All right. All right. So let me take Meshach. I'm just going to take 2 more questions and I think I'm going to call it a day. All right. I think we had a wonderful day already. Meshach, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Good day, sir. Thanks
Good
for
day. Thank you very
allowing me
much.
to ask my question. I made a payment today. When I filled the form, I selected data science, but right now I'm seeing, although I saw the procurable, I'm still confused. Let me just say my background. I do web development, currently transited into Flutter, that's the app development for both mobile and desktop computers. So I want something closely related. I think I might end up switching to data science, but I just want just a brief of both sides so that I can finally make a decision.
So you want to know which one?
So currently I filled the form this morning for data science. So I want
Okay, so
this
you want to
data
know more
engineering
about
is sounding
data.
better.
All right,
I
so
want to know more.
data science is it depends on your preference. So data engineering, you don't have to know mathematics, statistics, you don't need to know machine learning, modeling and all that. It's not your purview. Okay, that's not your own thing as a data engineer. All right. Let's just make up a scenario. Okay, let's make up a scenario. Let me create a blank page for this particular question real quick. Just give me a second. Just want to create a blank space so I can explain this thing very, very easy for you to understand better. Okay, just because of you, Meshat. Okay, just only you, just you alone. All right. So just give me a second. Your page blank. Sorry, just give me a second. I want to answer Misha's question, and I would use that one to answer so many other people's question. All right. All right. So Mesha here. Okay. I'm just gonna take this scenario. Okay. So you're looking at data science. Sorry. Sorry. Let me just clean this up. All right. It can be very bad sometimes. Okay. So Mesha is asking a very intelligent question, which borders around data science and just write down here a bit. Data science. Okay, what am I writing? Okay, so I think I'd rather just draw than start writing all these things again. Actually, just tired. All right, so boom. Let's call this DS, data scientist, and this other individual. Okay, we'll call this individual. Okay, DE, data engineer, data scientist. All right. So this is the organization. Let's say they both work in this organization. Okay. All right. They work in let's say in a bank. Let's say they work in this bank. Let's say they work with Josh Bank. I've used Josh names today a lot. Let's say they work with Josh Bank. Now Josh Bank, okay, Josh Bank, they have lots of customers across, let's say across Nigeria. Okay, they have lots of customers around across Nigeria. Okay, now these customers, all right, they make transactions, okay? They make quite a number of transactions via ATM, okay? Via internet, the internet source, okay? Internet, that's the web application, that's the web, okay? Via the web. Also mobile app, okay? Mobile app, okay? They also make transactions through maybe any other POS, let's say POS. All right. So they make transactions through these processes. Okay. They make transactions through this processing. But one key thing for customers in this bank, one of the priority for Josh Bank for their customers, okay, is to be able to detect fraudulent transaction. Right? Fraudulent transactions. Okay. All right. So, this is what they want to achieve. They've seen that over the past couple of months, people have been complaining of fraudulent transactions. Oh, somebody just took my ATM. I went to go and empty my account. Somebody just went on my web application and wired all my money in my account. Somebody accessed my bank app, my mobile app, and downloaded and did this. Somebody took my ATM to the POS and emptied my account. So many fraudulent transactions taking place. Do you understand? Now, obviously, data from ATM, sorry, data from ATM is stored in, there are data from different sources. So ATM, internet, that's the web application, mobile app, and POS. Now, the data scientist is the person that is statistically inclined, okay, that would work with statistical modeling, what we call statistical modeling, okay, to be able to identify what we call pattern, to be able to see patterns in the data, okay, patterns in the data. All right, so you can see pattern in the data to identify this transaction one, okay, is it fraudulent, okay, or not fraudulent, okay? So there are certain patterns you see. There are certain patterns you see that would tell you this transaction that is occurring, this particular transaction, is it fraudulent or not fraudulent? So this particular data scientist is the person that will build statistical models or what we call machine learning models. Okay, machine learning, all right, models, okay, that will be able to detect this transaction that is about to occur, this transaction, all right, is it fraudulent or not fraudulent? Okay, that's what the role of the data scientist is, all right, to be able to detect, identify patterns, see patterns. Is this transaction fraudulent or not fraudulent? Now, the data engineer doesn't care about anything statistics, mathematics, no statistics, no stats, no mathematics, nothing. Okay? This guy is just available. This guy is just, what I'll call a plumber. Okay? All right. Now I'll explain what they mean by plumber. So you see this data scientist, the data scientist needs data. This person, the data scientist needs data. They need data to be able to know, to be able to see this pattern. In order for them to see this pattern in the data, they need data. Data is, 100% of their work. Do you understand? So this plumber here, which is the data engineer, because this data scientist needs data from ATM, okay, needs data from the web, needs data from where again? From mobile app, okay, needs data from where again? From POS. Okay, so the transaction from ATM, okay, transaction from ATM, they should have it. Transactions from web should be there. Transaction from mobile app should be there. Transaction from POS should be there. So you see all this data. This is what we call data sources. This is what we call data sources. So you see all this data is generated from all the sources, from ATM, from web, from mobile app, from POS, all these data sources. The data engineer needs it in one place. The data engineer needs it in one place, a central location, central, location. Okay. All right. All this data across all these platforms. Okay. The data scientist needs it in one central location. Now, what the data engineer is going to do is build what we call a pipeline, a data pipeline. Okay. What we call data pipeline. So basically, that data pipeline, the most common one is what we call ETL pipeline. Extract, T for transform, okay, and L for load. Okay, so E, first of all, the data engineer will extract, that's the first E, will extract data from ATM, will extract data from web, will extract data from the mobile app, extract data from POS, all right, will perform transformation. So when you say transformation, okay, when you're talking about transformation, I can transform you. So when you're talking about transformation, you're talking about handling missing values. Okay, you're handling, you know how to handle missing values. Okay, all right. Okay, you're dealing with duplicate data. You're dealing with incorrect data. You're dealing with data inconsistency. That's what you're doing with transformation. So because the data is coming from 4 sources, there are going to be a lot of differences, a lot of inconsistencies, missing value, that. There are going to be a lot of, you need to do a lot of cleaning. So because of that clean, you need to do what we call transformation, cleaning up, okay? So that's E, you extract the data from all the sources, you transform the data, and thereafter you load it into that central location. And you load the data. After you transform the data, you load it into a data warehouse. Okay, what we call a data warehouse. Okay. Now this data scientist will now take that data and start to apply statistical modeling, machine learning, to be able to see transactions that are fraudulent or not fraudulent. Okay, so that's the key distinctions between the two roles. Meshach, I don't know. Can you raise up your hand to? I don't know if I've answered your question. Okay, so those are the distinctions. Okay. Yes. Let me take you quickly. Meshach, I've answered your question real quick.
Yeah, I got a lot from what you said. Yeah, okay. Ah, man.
So,
It
which
still
are you?
seems
Are
like
you a
a
statistic? Are you a statistics person? Are you a mathematics? Are you, or if you're coming from the software
mm,
engineer, if you're coming from the web developer, software engineering background,
mm,
data engineering will suit you better, to be honest, because
I
you are
think
not new
so.
to programming. Exactly, you are not new to the back
Yes,
end,
because
front end.
I've been in web development for almost 5 years. I'm development 1 year now. So I think I'll go for engineering.
Yeah, I think that would work for you. That's Yeah, but for data science also, if you're interested in the statistical analysis, modeling, what do you call it, machine
It's
learning, that
interesting.
would
It is
also, yeah,
interesting also. Yeah, but
yeah.
I kind of want to flow with the same line.
Okay, all right, no problem. Thank you very much for
Thank you
that.
very much, sir. Thank you
I
very much.
appreciate it. Yeah, thank you very much. All right, Oluwaseun, let me ask you to unmute real quick so you can take a question. I only wanted to spend, this is 2 hours plus. Okay, Seun, go ahead, please.
Okay, good evening. Thank you.
Your name sounds very familiar, though.
Oh, okay. I've
Yes.
been on other free classes before.
Okay. Yeah, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good to meet you, anyways. Yeah, go ahead, please.
So I was just wondering, is there a distinction between data engineering and like maybe cloud engineering? So can So it seems as if maybe a data engineer can do cloud engineering, but can a cloud engineer do like all the things that are done in data engineering? Or do they just intersect at the AWS, but they're different?
Yes, they intersect at AWS and they're quite different. So a cloud engineer, it depends really. I've seen some cloud engineers that just do everything in the cloud. Okay, so but there are certain things in terms of you need to be good with programming. So I would say it's likely not. I think they intersect and they can work together, to be very honest. Okay. So from my own experience, and this is me speaking from my own experience. Okay. So you're working in AWS cloud engineer, for example, as a AWS cloud engineer, you need to be able to write Python codes. Okay, you need to be able to write SQL scripts. You need to be able to automate your pipeline. How do you do all this without coding? You need Python to do it. So you'll be able to do data engineering. Okay, so yeah, that's you definitely will be able to do the two of them if that makes sense. I don't know. So yes, the two of them work hand in hand. To be honest with you, they are the same thing. So it's just that the only difference is AWS is different from Azure. Azure is different from GCP, but it's almost the same knowledge. Okay, it's like you using Microsoft Excel and Google Sheets. It's two different applications, but if you not use Excel, you can navigate your way using Google Sheets, if that makes sense. So that's exactly what I would say. But yeah, a cloud engineer can also work as a data engineer. A data engineer can work as a cloud engineer.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
All right, no problem. Thank you very much, Shell. iPhone, I'm gonna ask you to unmute yourself. Okay. Adam, I'm gonna ask you to unmute yourself. Adam, then I'm gonna take Ishak next.
Yeah, hello. Thanks for your time and thanks for your presentation. Can you hear me, please?
Perfectly, yes.
Yeah, I was quickly just going to ask, as funny as it sounds, which is more in demand, the data science and the data engineering roles? Which do you think is more in demand in terms of the market, the industry, the tech industry? Then in terms of payments, which do you think is paid more? I'm sorry, but I have to ask those questions.
All right. So no doubt about that, the data engineer is being paid more. They are being paid more in the industry at the moment. Data engineers are being paid more. Either contracts, full time, fixed term, or remote. They are being paid more. Okay. In terms of demand, the demand I would say very similar. I would say, to be very honest with you. The beauty of data science is there are quite a number of other roles you can pivot into. Okay. So for data science, you can work in logistics, you can work in supply chain, you can work in operations, you can work anywhere. You're using data science to sort of detect certain operations. Okay. Take, for example, I worked in supply chain. And what was I using data science to do in supply chain? Forecasting. All right. So if you work with Amazon, if you know how logistics work, you want to be able to forecast what would happen, how many products would I deliver tomorrow, and so on and so forth. So that's when you start to apply statistical model to do forecasting and all that. So the roles of a data scientist is very flexible. All right. You can work anywhere. You can actually get jobs in HR. You can get jobs in any department, really, any unit. All right. Data engineering is more niche, okay? But the demand is pretty much, even looking at just the core role, data science, they are pretty much the same. In terms of demand, you definitely get the same number of roles for both, okay? The only thing, like I said, for data science is you can easily pivot to other industries. Data engineering is tech, is just is one aspect. All right, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, madam. Okay. All right. Isha, let me take you. I don't know if I pronounced your name properly, but pardon me.
Hello, good evening. Good evening, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm good. I'm good.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. My
Let's
first
see.
question is, please, which aspect are you specialized? Because you are just
Myself.
coming from everywhere.
I think you're the second person asking me this question. So I like that question, and that's something very interesting because these are the things that I've learned over time. Okay, so I actually started as a data analyst. Okay, so my first job was a data analyst. Okay, on that role, I transitioned into a BI engineer. Okay, so gaining experience as a BI engineer, I moved from there, worked as a global business systems analyst. On the side, I was working for other companies on the side, working as a data scientist with one of it was a gaming company. I've worked with gaming, I've worked as a data scientist and health tech company. So, these are kind of opportunities you get, working remotely for different startups and different organizations in the UK, Ireland. I was in Ireland earlier, so I was working for firms in Ireland and UK. I was doing all those, Jama, they call it Jama Jama.
Hmm,
All right. So
I
yeah,
get you.
so I started getting experience from different aspects. So I've always been a data analyst, but I love data science. I've always practiced as a data scientist. So I got jobs in data science. Also, data engineering became in demand. Started doing data engineering also. All right, even on the road and also getting jobs as data engineer. So currently what I do now is more of consulting. So I'm coming in as a consultant, data analytics consultant, or what we call contractual position. If you're in the UK, you know about contract positions. So coming in to sort of um, fine tune certain processes within the organization. So if they have data challenges, okay, I'm just there to profile, all right, what systems, what things can we deploy to make the system better. So I'm not building dashboards again. I'm not necessarily building models anymore. I'm more, on the management side, ensuring that things are running properly, leading a team, so on and so forth. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. But over time, it has transitioned across different roles. And that's why I would say I'm comfortable talking across different subject matter within the data ecosystem. It really doesn't matter where it is. That's just my experience. But like I said, I started from somewhere, okay? And I started growing. And that's just it. Yeah. I don't know if that makes sense, Isha.
It really makes sense, and I really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
All right. Appreciate
My
it.
main
Thank you.
question is, I studied statistics in university,
Okay.
but I'm a below average student, so I struggled out.
So we are
Actually, I
together then.
wanted to study chemistry or biochemistry, but
Okay.
admission, I was given statistics and I could not reject it because I need admission at that time. So I struggled out in statistics. After then, I graduated and battling with life. So when I come across this, your platform, in fact, I was so much happy. Before now, I during COVID, I went for what do you call it? I was looking for what I can do because I moved from Nigeria to South Africa. My wife is doing PhD then,
Mm-hmm.
so I have to do something. So I wanted to go for tech, but I don't know where to go and what to do. When I first have contact into tech, it was web designing, this
Front end,
CSS and
CSS, HTML.
HTML, all those stuff.
Yeah.
But I didn't really interested or something. I don't know. So somebody now introduced me to database administration.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw it, actually, I didn't know how it entails, but I picked interest. So I did a training with an Indian woman. I did training on database administration. When I finished, I was looking for where I can do internship. I could not get. Somebody told me that I didn't mean it was data science I did. But, because of statistics, I was running away from data science. So eventually on that database administration, I discovered that I'm supposed to have learned SQL and Linux. So I went back. But apart from that, after that, I was doing another thing. So when I came across this platform, I was so much happy with all this your program. Now,
Okay.
my question is, hope the data science won't, because I told you I study statistics and I see that data science is perfect for me, but because I'm a below average student,
Don't
will
worry.
I be able to cope or I should go for data analysis? I'm sorry
Okay.
for my long story. Thank
No,
you
no,
very
no,
much.
no. Absolutely. You don't need to apologize for it. You're asking the question very, very solid, very, very relatable, I'd say. So, um, I would say also to a very large extent, you know, things you learn in school. The reason why a lot of us don't do well in school is because we don't know the real life application of the things that we're
Hmm.
learning. All
Yeah.
right. So
Yes.
they teach you, let's say, statistics. You have the stuff like variance, standard deviation,
Yes.
mean,
Yes.
median, mode. You start to
Exactly.
wonder what in what scenario would I have to go and start looking for variance, standard
Please, I'm
deviation,
sorry
and
to
all.
cut you.
Yeah.
When we were in 400 level, we did one course, and our lecturer wrote some
On the
things on
class.
the board, and we cleaned the full board like 3 times. One of my classmates had to ask the lecturer that, please, how are we going to apply all these things in the labor market? We could not, we were just writing and,
Just be right and cramming formulas and nonsense. So,
exactly.
so what I would say is we have a session on Saturday. Okay, is it Saturday?
Okay.
Yes, on Saturday.
This Saturday?
It's yes, we are this coming Saturday. So
Okay.
we're going to be talking about statistical analysis.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you so
so we're
much.
really looking to get into data science. Okay, we have several master class, and one thing about it's free of charge. It's just for you to see that, oh, I can actually learn this thing, and this is how it applies to the real world scenario. So I'm going to be having a session on Friday. Let me just confirm again. This
Okay.
session is going to be on, yes, on Saturday by 8
Okay.
p.m. So I'm going to be having a session on statistical analysis using Microsoft Excel. Okay, so everybody has Excel. Just get Excel on your system. I'm just going to walk you through statistical analysis using Microsoft Excel. So all the things that you learned in school, measure of central tendency. Okay, how does it apply in the real world? How does a data analyst, data scientist, how would they use statistical analysis? Okay, in the real world. That's exactly what we're going to be exploring in class. All right. So don't worry. Okay.
Okay.
Don't worry. That's why our sessions are hands on practical. All right. So you see real time how your analysis or your things, the things that you're building, you can actually use them. All right. Majority of the guys, some of the guys now that I know, all right, some of them are doing freelance. All right. Some of them are working for companies on the side. Okay. Offering service. And that's because you know how to apply. Okay, most people just learn, and when you go on platforms like Udemy, you go on YouTube, you really don't know
Exactly.
the why to why you're doing what you're doing. Okay, you just learn it because okay, somebody's talking and you're just watching the person, or why am I doing it? That's the key question. Don't worry. Like I said, don't worry. Below average, above average, and any other thing you want to see, don't worry. We are all, I was in your shoes before a couple of years ago. So I know where you're coming from, and that's why I'm usually very excited to, unhold you, all right, and guide you through the journey itself. So don't worry. Just if you've not registered, I would say you should register,
I
secure
did
a
my
place.
registration today.
Oh, okay, then that's fine. Do you know what? Just just come to class on Saturday, 8 p.m. and you'll see it for your own self. You'll be the one to see for yourself,
Okay.
that you can actually learn this thing and you can apply it. That's the key thing
Okay.
for me. All right.
Thank
So
you so
let's
much.
meet on Saturday, then we'll talk from there.
I
Okay.
hope I will get the link on my email.
Oh, yes, you will. Are you on the WhatsApp group also?
Yes, I have. Yes, yes.
Yes, you're on the WhatsApp group. So you sit on the
Yes.
WhatsApp group, you get an email. Don't worry, we'll communicate. You get
Okay.
communication from us, definitely.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All
I
right. No,
really
no
appreciate
problem.
you.
I appreciate it
Thank
big
you.
time. All right. Thank you very much. Yeah, so thank you very much, guys. This is where we're gonna call it today. So the program is starting on the 4th of November, 2023. That's next week Saturday. Last wake up call, last early bird call for people looking to get registered. The discount is gonna end on Sunday. Okay, so if you want to register before then, please register. Registration closes on Sunday. This is your chance to become a data engineer. Okay, so secure your position, register. Once you make payment, click on the link to register your receipt, to update your receipt, and take it out from there. So thank you very much, guys. I'm going to stop sharing, and I would like to hear your. I hope you guys had fun today. You learned one or two things. Yeah. Let me allow you to mute yourself. Okay, you guys. I hope you guys had a good time today. Correct? You guys had a wonderful time. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's it. That's it. That's it.
So
Thank
I'm
you
new.
very much, guys.
I'm new. I just jumped on. So I'm looking to join for
No, I'm
one.
not satisfied because I have not asked my question.
Who is that? Okay, Rukawe. Rukawe,
Yes.
thank you very much. Is that Rukawe?
Yes, it is.
Who was talking? I thought was it Frank that was speaking just now?
No, it's Ruka that is talking now. Somebody else just spoke.
No, it was Rukawe that was speaking.
No,
Okay.
not me.